Wow, this is horrendously backlit. Let me do this real fast. Okay. That's even worse. How about this? Is that better? Okay, let's try that. I don't know. I guess it's not the greatest place to sit, but trying to be considerate. Talk out the window rather than into the apartment. How's everybody doing? We got a lot to talk. Not that anybody gives a fuck about what it looks like. This always looks like shit. How's it sound? Does it sound good for everybody? My last live stream got almost 500 views. I have no idea why, how, but it did. And so here's hoping that we're just going to keep on that trajectory. There's a lot to talk about, everybody. There's so much to talk about. Is there peace in the Middle East? We don't know. Maybe. We'll talk about that. I mean, Jesus Christ, it's 100 things have happened since last whatever. I think I did this like a week and a half ago. We're going to talk about Iggy Pop night on Monday. We had Iggy Pop night. It was fucking lit as hell. We're going to talk about John Lennon birthday tribute show. I was just at Central Park at Strawberry Fields. It's John Lennon's 85th birthday today. And so, I'm in Central Park practically every day, and I walk by Strawberry Fields like a few times a week. And so I thought, well, fuck, I got to get down there on the birthday this year. See what that scene is about. See what that's all about. Pay our respects to the Toxic Beetle. I bet John Lennon would have been pissed because they did this. I don't know who was calling the shots there, but like there was no real. It didn't really seem like there was anybody in charge. There was a bunch. It was sort of like Washington Square Park conglomeration of like buskers and just kind of jam guys. I don't really know if they knew each other or what. There were a few pianos. A few people brought like big electric keyboards. And then there was a couple guitar players. There was an electric guitar player who was really good. He was kind of holding it together. But they played a lot of fucking... they played a lot of McCartney songs. They played Back in the USSR twice. They played Let It Be. They played Maybe I'm Amazed. It's like John Lennon would be fucking pissed about this, man. He doesn't want to hear all these fucking McCartney songs. And then they played a bunch of George Harrison songs. They played Something twice. They played all of Abbey Road for some reason. I mean, I got there sort of late in the day. I got there probably at like 4 or 5. But it's like they only played Imagine once. Then they played 2 Ringo songs in a row, if you can believe that. They played Octopus's Garden twice. And then they played You Gotta Pay Your Dues If You Want It. They played that fucking song, which is a Ringo solo song, which I think maybe George Harrison helped him to write or something. So there weren't that many John Lennon songs to speak of, really. Maybe about half, maybe less than half. And the John Lennon songs always tore it up. They played Slow Down. They played, they barely played Strawberry Fields. That was like way late. It's like this place is called fucking Strawberry Fields. You're going to play fucking Strawberry Fields? They played Ticket to Ride. They played Help. They played No Reply. A lot of the stuff off Hard Day's Night. Hard Day's Night is like kind of one of their early master, because it's all originals. That's kind of there's a lot of hidden tracks on there. So anyway, it was a nice time, but I think John Lennon would have been spinning in his grave because it was all these McCartney songs. Maybe I'm Amazed. John Lennon does not want to hear Maybe I'm Amazed. And they didn't play hardly any John Lennon solo stuff. They played Mind Games, which was cool, and they played Instant Karma. That was really about it, other than Imagine. So you're gonna play fucking Maybe I'm Amazed and like It Don't Come Easy. Why not play Got My Mind Set on You or play some fucking Traveling Wilbury songs while you're at it? This one guy started playing No Matter What by Badfinger. It's like play some fucking Beatles songs. Play some goddamn John Lennon Beatles songs. This one they played Martha My Dear. It's like play fucking they did play I Feel Fine. Play Please Please Me. Play fucking Thank You Girl. Play I Call Your Name. The people who were doing it didn't really seem to really know who wrote any of the songs, and it seemed like there seemed to be infighting between the group. There was a guy who was playing piano. He looked like if Adolf Hitler was like a high school music teacher, and he had very strong music teacher vibes. You could tell he just kind of wanted to play show tunes. And he was the one who was really into the McCartney stuff and was really like pushing. But then there was this other half of the jam group who were like guitar guys, and they were the ones who wanted the kind of like macho Lennon stuff. And so this guy would start a song, he'd start playing We Can Work It Out or whatever, and they'd start playing I'll Cry Instead. And there was a lot of kind of snippy, passive aggressive infighting. But you know, it was what it was. It was fun. It was cool. I liked that kind of stuff because there's nobody leading it. It's just like people choosing to sing the songs. It's a crowd of people. There's no like lead singer. We're all just like people that went there because we fucking, I don't know, care about. Well, I'll get back to that. I'm doing my overture now. I also want to talk about this movie I worked on. I was a part of this movie. Shout out to well, I don't want to spoil it or anything, but I think it's a good project. I'm really excited to be part of it, and it was good to be on a set again. I had a scene. I played the this CEO of this jingle company. So it basically, it was sort of like a corporate music for video. So I basically played myself, corporate shill, corporate artist, a creative, the creatives, the brand, the shapers of the brands, the graphic designers, the copywriters, the people who are all being replaced by AI. So we shot this movie in fucking Soho. It was pretty glamorous. I was stoked to be a part of it. It was good to be, the thing about making films is like, it's obviously a lot of hurry up and wait. And you just have to like anticipate that is the process, just like you have to have patience. If you're going to work on making films, you just have to accept that like it's all about the fucking machines. It's all about the fucking camera and the sound, and it's just a slow moving thing. There's so many fucking departments, there's so many people that kind of, the information gets relayed through. I'll talk about how I almost got stabbed in the subway. Maybe I'll start with that. Monday night after the open mic, I will just say to people up front, be careful around Sheridan Square. That one stop, I don't know what the fuck it is about that one stop, but it's like pretty fucking gnarly over there. And it shouldn't be because it's the West Village, so you would think that it would be super like police state over there. But in any case, I'm getting off the open mic at, 2 a.m. or whatever, Monday. And I like to walk over to Sheridan Square because I like taking the one train up to West Side Market. West Side Market is my happy place. It's my grotto of bliss. That's my routine. Every time I come home from downtown, I take the one train, which is completely like the Upper West Side train. It's like there's no reason for this train to exist other than the fact Then it comes to the Upper West Side. And it goes to Columbia. It's basically like the Columbia fucking train. It goes right up Broadway and it stops literally right in front of fucking Columbia. And so I usually 3 in the morning, I'm in fucking West Side Market buying a Danish as my sort of treat to myself for another day, slugging it out in these fucking streets. And so anyway, but now I'm downtown. I'm walking across town and I get to, Sheridan Square is this big open, that's where Stonewall is. What is it? Kettle of Fish is there, Duplex, there's a bunch of gay bars. It's like the gay piano district. What's that place? Arthur's Tavern or whatever the fuck that is. There's all these like piano, Broadway, cabaret type. And there's all Wilfie and Neil, Ruby's is there. It's a star cluster of energy. And that, I gotta say, the West 4th Street stop is always pretty gnarly, but like West 4th Street between 7th Avenue and 6th Avenue has gotten pretty fucking like it's a lot of heroin zombies, frankly. You will literally see people. It's pretty common now to see people like they just look like stone dead and they're just like laying on a fucking stoop or in the middle of a sidewalk. Like people literally just like laying there with no signs of life whatsoever because they're so fucking comatose on whatever the hell they're on. Heroin or opioids, or I don't even know what the hell it is. Methadone. And so it's kind of fucking sketchy over there, I gotta say. 4th Street between 6th and 7th, particularly that time of day, there's a lot of just zombie fucking. And so in any case, I walk over to the one train right there. It's like this big kind of open circle. There's a newsstand. There's a fucking Starbucks, 2 Boots. But it's 3 o'clock in the morning, so everything's fucking closed. But there's still some people around. There's still, 20 people or something scattered around this whole fucking. And so anyway, they've got the timer. So there's a few minutes. It's like 7 minutes till the train. So I'm like, okay, I'll stand here. I'll smoke or whatever. I'll enjoy the night. It's nice weather. Coming down from this Iggy Pop show. It was a good show. It was a success. I'll talk more about that when I'm done with this. Talking about how I almost got stabbed. And so anyway, then I sort of noticed there's this guy that's sort of like looking at me or something. And he's like a big guy. He's got a beard. His hair's like gray. But he just looks like he looks like a zombie. He literally looks like a zombie. It looks like someone ate his brain and he turned into a fucking zombie. Like he's slow. He's like kind of staring at me and he starts to come over. He starts walking towards me. And so I'm smoking. I'm like, fuck this. Like I want to get away from this guy. This is fucking weird. So I go down into the train. I'm just like, I'll go. He's probably not going to follow me into the fucking train. Like he probably doesn't have any money. He looks homeless or something. He literally looks like fucking brain dead. He looks like he's been lobotomized. But he's got gray hair, big beard, long hair. And so I go down into the one train. The train's going to be there in, I don't know, 5 minutes or something. And I go in and I go to the right and I'm standing there by myself. I'm the only, there's a few people down on the other side of the entrance of the platform, but I'm basically the only person on that side of the platform. The next thing I know, this guy comes into the fucking train and he looks around and he sees me and he starts coming at me. And I'm thinking, Jesus Christ, is this a fucking bad dream? Like, am I hallucinating this? This is like a fucking this is like a Jason movie or something. This guy's like, this is like fucking a Rob Zombie, Devil's Rejects. He looked like that guy, kind of. Sid Haig. He was black. Not that that matters, but he should have probably been fucking institutionalized or something. These are the kind of people that probably this guy should be in Bellevue. And so anyway, he comes down and I'm like, get the fuck away from me or something I say to him. And he's like staring at me. And I look down and in his hand, he's got this fucking he's got something wrapped around his knuckles and there's like some kind of spike coming out. It's like, it looks like a fucking coat hanger or something. And, luckily for me, the guy is like brain dead or something. So like he's moving very slow. He's not really reacting quickly. It's almost like he's underwater. It had like a bad dream kind of feel to it, where it's like this guy's like moving slow and he's like, so anyway, there's like this, there's pillars all down the platform, and there's a pillar between me and this guy. I've got my backpack. I'm like holding my backpack. I see this thing in his hand, and I'm like, well, should I try to use my backpack to like knock the shit out of the guy's hand? On the pillar, there's like an emergency thing, like you press a button and it's like the cops or whatever. So I'm thinking fast at this point. Like I said, I'm lucky this guy was not able bodied because who knows, but thank God. So anyway, I'm trying to think really fast, and I'm like, should I hit the shit? And I'm like, no. So I'm like, you know what? This guy's slow. He's not going to be able to fucking run after me. He's not going to run. This guy can't run, like, so I'm like, I sort of like put this pillar between me and him. And I'm like, and then I run around the other side and he kind of goes this way and I bolt down the fucking platform. And, he's like, he doesn't even know what the fuck happened. And I bang on the fucking, the teller or whatever. I'm like, this fucking guy's got a knife, he's trying to stab me. And so the teller is this big black guy. He comes out to fucking, just like, thank God he did a great job. It's like, it's Sheridan Square. It's a West Village. You'd think they would have fucking cops there or whatever. Like, if they would have them anywhere. Like, there's a lot of rich fucking white people that live in the neighborhood. That's where all the Taylor Swift fucking people live. All the fucking finance criminals and shit. It's famous for being like a bunch of white kind of Murray Hill people. So anyway, the guy's, then he starts coming at me again. And so then I run, there's like 3 or 4 people waiting for and I'm looking at the train. It's like the train is 2 minutes away. So in my head, I'm thinking, oh, if I can just stall till the train comes, I'll get on the train. Like the guy's probably not going to follow me on the fucking train. Who knows? So anyway, I run and there's like, there's 4 or 5 people on the other side of the platform. So it's like between me and this guy, there's a bunch of other people. So if he comes at me with a fucking knife, like he's either going to get distracted by somebody else or somebody's going to notice or something. So anyway, I don't really know what the fuck happened, but like the guy disappeared. I think the teller came out and got him. And then the train came. I got on the fucking train. At the time, it really didn't seem, it seemed crazy. And it seemed like, this is insane and fucking scary. But like, fuck, I don't know. It's a dangerous fucking world. You get shot anywhere. There's mass shootings fucking everywhere. There's fucking, New York is statistically pretty fucking safe, like for a big city. But like, the crimes like this do happen. There was that guy in Bed-Stuy. There was this white fucking poet guy that some fucking crazy person came up to him on the street and stabbed him in the fucking chest and he died. Like, thank God that didn't happen. I wasn't, I'm not like that rattled by it or anything. I don't feel unsafe. I probably shouldn't lead with this fucking story because my parents are watching or whatever. They're going to get freaking scared. But, I'm just laughing it off. It's just funny. It was just, I don't know. It was at the end of, because the Iggy Pop night was so fucking crazy to begin with. Which was, so let me rewind here. On the bright side, the Iggy Pop night, I will say it was a record-breaking night. It was the most money we ever made, ever. We've never broken through $2,000, and we finally broke through $2,000. So shout out to Jack. He did a great job. But in any case, it was a success. God knows why. Shout out to Nathan Woldair for suggesting it. It was his idea. He came up to me in August and was like, you should do an Iggy Pop night. It's like, okay, I guess so. Why not? It's Mike Tober. What the hell? I figured, Mike Tober, I'm going to try to do theme nights every Monday. Next Monday's My Dinner with Andre night. But it was our theme fucking Iggy Pop night. And I guess the reason probably why it was a moneymaker was because, I mean, it just started off crazy. Iggy Pop, of course, do yourself a favor, okay? There's a video of Iggy Pop on YouTube playing live, and I think in Paris. I think it's the 90s. It is fucking insane. I don't think you could get away with it today. The shit that he literally gets naked on stage. He plays like 3 fucking songs like completely naked. His dick is out and everything. It's insane. I literally couldn't believe what I'm seeing because it's like the dude just he can rile these fucking crowds into shape. It's crazy to watch this guy with his songs. And Iggy Pop really the reason why I was attracted to doing an Iggy Pop night is because like he really is a great artist. He's not just some kind of rock and roll airhead. Like Iggy Pop like is kind of a fucking genius, actually. Like he knows what the fuck he's doing. He's a poet. He understands what a great record is. His body is insane. In this video, like I said, he's wearing jeans. He's sort of famous because he never wears a shirt on stage, and he's just ripped. I mean, he is cut. He looks like fucking Brad Pitt in Fight Club. He's cut as hell. Like his body is like, it's almost like some kind of Renaissance, like Vitruvian man or something. Like he's almost like some kind of Da Vinci fucking drawing or some shit. Because his body is just like, he looks like Michelangelo's David. Even though he's only 5'7", ladies. Iggy Pop is only 5'7". He's a short king, ladies, just so you know. I do want to talk about AOC and short kings because AOC made some rather hateful remarks about short kings. So, of course, I'm going to do my standard 30 minutes about short kings. Yeah, it wouldn't be a live stream unless I bitched about short king cultural, opinion or whatever. So, I mean, Iggy Pop, like it's like the Stooges. First of all, his work with Bowie, his solo career has a lot of interesting kind of iterations with a lot of different sounds. The Passenger, the Idiot, Butt Town, Lust for Life, Wild Child. He's still making fucking relevant music. That punk rocker song was on some fucking soundtrack, and that was like one of the big songs of the summer. I heard it on TikTok and shit. And he just killed it on at the CBGB festival in New York. So I saw all these TikTok videos. I mean, he's got scoliosis or something, so like he's super gnarly on stage, but I think that's amazing. I think it's he's such a profoundly truthful artist and human being. You just get the impression this guy is he reminds me of John Ryan, my friend John Ryan. He just seems like this dude has so much fucking energy. He's incorrigible. He's irrepressible. Like he's probably a complete pain in the ass, like in a classroom setting. But you put him in a rock and roll context, it's like the dude is rock and roll. He incarnate, he is the essence because he's all just like, fuck you, fuck everybody. I'm taking my fucking pants off. Here's my dick. He brings this chick up on stage. She's like this amazing French woman. He starts dancing with the chick during the middle of the song or whatever while he's singing the fucking song. She's incredibly fucking, whatever, French. And then when the song's over, he basically like picks her up. He like, he hits on her. Then he sends her backstage. Then he goes into the next fucking song. Then he takes his pants off. It's like, and the crowd is just, there's a reason why these guys were fucking rock stars and shit. It's just like the effect they had on fucking people that was, I mean, I don't really think there is people like that in a way. I don't know. Our culture has changed that, like, I don't know. This guy, just by his sheer personality, just like, this whole fucking room is just pandemonium because of his music, because of his lyrics, because of his antics, his bod. He's in fucking Crybaby for shit's sake. Iggy Pop. I mean, he's in Jim Jarmusch films. He's in fucking Coffee and Cigarettes. Iggy, man. He's from Michigan. He's from a fucking trailer park. So he's a Detroit rock guy. The Stooges, I mean, when I was younger in Audible Detonation, I mean, the Stooges still were like everybody in the Midwest. Like, the Stooges were kind of like the ultimate, like, Detroit, because they were punk. I mean, Iggy, you could make an argument that he invented that shit in a way, even though he was kind of just doing 60s garage rock. That's really the world he came from. Or even blues. There was this amazing story Iggy Pop was telling about when he was like 16 years old. He went to Chicago and like saw these fucking blues guys and started like singing his own blues songs when he was like a kid. And so like he's one of those people that's like, he just has so much energy and so much life force that he's probably just always been doing it. He's always been like insatiably curious. You can tell the guy reads. He's going to fuck you on the floor amongst his books of ancient folklore. He really is a master songsmith, poet, lyricist. And his records are like perfect. I mean, they're great records. They're great. The sound is great. The bass on his albums is really fucking interesting a lot of the time. Apparently, Iggy Pop's touring guitar player, Matt Sweeney, was in KGB Bar a week prior to Iggy Pop Night, which would make sense because that's when that CBGB thing was. And the doorman told him, they asked what was going on upstairs. The doorman said there was an open mic, and Matt Sweeney goes, so he's not an open mic guy, and he missed Iggy Pop Night. But in any case, that's the point of doing some of these themes, is it's sort of like educational, I don't know, a way to sort of like study the masters closer, do some of their material, learn the material, bring it to people. I mean, Iggy Pop lived in the fucking East Village, right? He lived on Avenue B at the Christadora, as John King reminded us on Monday. So he's an East Village, New York fucking guy. His song Avenue B is really nice. He's got a lot of really, he's got ballads, chanson. Even though he's kind of this rock and roll mutt or mongrel, or kind of like, maybe his reputation is not quite what Bowie's is, or, Lou Reed, I guess. But to me, they're kind of like a triangle or something, a trifecta, a triumvirate of like 70s, glam, queer, punk lyrics. They're all kind of like brilliant genius, literary, interested in art. Iggy Pop is like, he's not just this wild fucking spastic child, like, Little Prince bastard. He's sophisticated too. But it's nice that he fills something as down and dirty as rock and roll and punk rock with something as sophisticated. A song like Eggs on Plate. Like, what a great fucking title. I love that song, Fall in Love with Me. It's like the ultimate pathetic. He's got kind of a Sinatra thing in a way. He's like a crooner. I don't know. He just has so many great songs, obviously. Louie. I remember, because we played Search and Destroy in Audible Detonation. That was like one of our big, it's a tough song. I mean, that is not a fucking easy song for anybody to play. So to say it's just punk music is kind of insane, because it's actually a pretty difficult piece of music to play. And I mean, Jesus Christ, that's like one of the ultimate, pieces of music ever recorded. Search and Destroy, the lyrics, everything in that fucking song is just firing completely batshit 1,000% on all cylinders. And so we liked Iggy Pop and the Stooges and shit like that in Ohio. I was never that into them, but like I remember Pete Lenzel coming up to us and being like, because we played Ramblin' Gamblin' Man, Bob Seger, which is another Detroit Midwest kind of rock, big late 60s fucking the drum beat for that song. It's become a lot more famous, I think, since we played it 20 years ago. It's been in more stuff, but Pete Lenzel came up and he goes, TVI, the Stooges is just Ramblin' Gamblin' Man. It's their version. They just took it. It's like, I guess I can see that. They have the same, that kind of MC5, big fucking artillery. So then, I think we downloaded Iggy Pop's version of Louie Louie on LimeWire. And imagine our surprise when it's like, it's really, I mean, to my, whatever, 19-year-old ears, it was fucking laughably terrible when I heard it back then. And now, the news. And it's like this sort of like 90s rock, like Lollapalooza version of Louie Louie. That is one of the things about Iggy Pop is he's managed to stay relevant through the eras. He can kind of shift a little bit. There's something about Iggy Pop that's like kind of goth and kind of like industrial. I'm kind of surprised he never ended up in like a David Lynch thing because he has that kind of energy. He has David Lynch energy for sure. And in the 80s, he looked like he was in the Misfits or something. He had like jet black hair and shit. So he's able to kind of like subtly kind of inflect with the times. And because he's a master, I don't know. He's always kind of there in this crazy way. And there's, those guys are a dying breed. He's one of the last ones left. And his version of Louie Louie, the lyrics are all about the communist world is falling apart. Capitalism is just breaking hearts. And, to our garage rock band, it was like fucking ridiculous that he put those lyrics into Louie Louie. But now that I'm older, I think that's like an incredible move. I think that's like such a brilliant, because the way that Iggy Pop uses Louie Louie, he's played it throughout his career. There's recordings of him playing it with the Stooges. And to me, I don't know. I love that so much. Louie Louie is the kind of like ultimate rock song. It's the ultimate democratic garage. Anybody can play this. It's meant to sound sloppy, but it's so fucking, and it's so primitive. It's just like this da 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 da. It's so percussive and just stupid. It's just fucking retarded, which is what's great about it. It's systematically deranging the senses, I would say. Those guys sound like they've systematically deranged their senses, the guys who played on Louie Louie. And it's almost like an accident. The recording of Louie Louie is like this freak miracle. And so Iggy Pop has kind of like changed the lyrics over the decades. He sings filthy lyrics in like the 80s and the 90s when his dick is out. He plays it practically every concert. He's talking about I'll fuck her here, I'll fuck her there, whatever. The lyrics can be really obscene if you want them to be. But then they can also be about capitalism and communism and geopolitics. So Iggy Pop, he really is like a complete artist, like Shakespeare. It's all there. History, poetry, love, politics, social relations. I'm only 5'1". Yeah, that's the ultimate Short King anthem right there. I'm only 5'1". I got a pain in my heart. Go on the Reddit forums, the Short King Reddit forums. See the pain in the hearts of those men. Those poor souls. We'll get into that in a second. But yeah, so Iggy Pop night. It was Iggy Pop night. And this is a companion to that. I started the show. I'm like, tonight, the Iggy Pop is like the ultimate. It's got that Bowie kind of like sachet. Bowie's a little more chic. He's a little more kind of uptown. He's a little more upper class. Iggy Pop is more. He's the trailer park. He's a redneck. He's a bad actor. He's a nuisance. He's a if you invite him over, he's gonna fucking trash the place. He's Steve Polychronopoulos in a way, sort of. I don't know. Well, I know how to play Search on Destroy because we used to play it in Honorable Detonation. Like, I'm not the biggest Iggy Pop fan. Like, I like Iggy Pop, but I'm not like, by no means am I like comprehensively fucking familiar. Like I said, I really am not that into the Stooges actually. But Iggy Pop has definitely 20 to 30 songs that are like essential. He's got as many fucking hits as practically anybody just by himself. Iggy Pop can go out and play as many fucking hit songs as, Billy Joel. It's a different crowd, but he's got classic. I Want to Be Your Dog. I mean, come on. So I'm just okay. I have this kind of mystical connection with Nathan Wilder in a crazy way because I was coming out of the subway before the show. Like I said, he suggested this Iggy Pop night. It was his idea. And I just knew there's something to this. Like this came to him. This means something. We have to do this. But I was waiting for it to kind of fall into place. And so I'm coming out of the subway at Delancey where I never get off because I'm going to the Lidl German grocery store, which they just opened to get mouthwash. And I'm coming out of Delancey and I run into Nathan Wilder right there. He's going in to go to some open mic in Brooklyn. So this is before, it's a good omen for the Iggy Pop. So I'm talking about the Iggy Pop night. And he's like, "Are you going to dress up?" And I'm like, "Well, Iggy Pop typically just goes shirtless on stage. So I'll probably just go shirtless. I'll probably just take my shirt off, and that'll be my Iggy Pop costume." And so he's like, "Oh, cool. Yeah." So anyway, then he goes, to the open mic and I go to fucking the grocery store. And fast forward to the beginning of the show, I'm doing the Bowie song, right? Or the Iggy Pop Bowie collab. They had that period like in Berlin, right? Iggy Pop and Bowie both lived in Berlin with Eno and who's the guy? Tony, what's the fucking producer guy? I can't remember his name, but they're all doing heroin, hanging out by the Berlin Wall and shit in the 70s. And they made Station to Station and fucking Heroes. And they're just holed up in this crazy fucking heroin, den, like making classic hard hitting, cocained out disco music, disco rock, funk, electro vibes, the vibes on fucking Heroes, Jesus Christ. And so it's kind of a duet, this song Tonight, right? So anyway, I'm on stage by myself singing it. Next thing I know, Nathan Wilder runs up on stage. He's got no shirt on. And we just clicked. It just clicked because he was singing the high David Bowie parts and I could kind of sing the low Iggy Pop parts. And we were kind of, it was a classic rock and roll moment where you're kind of face to face on the one microphone. That's a beautiful, there's something really beautiful about human beings singing together, harmony singing and group singing. That's why I went to this John Lennon thing today, because it's like, it's beautiful to be anywhere where a bunch of people are singing together and making a choir of their own sort of casual voices or whatever. They're not necessarily. And so this was totally unplanned, unscripted, unpromptu moment. And that's what I'm starting to learn by, it's taken a long time to figure out. It's just like, sometimes you got to be comfortable flying by the seat of your pants on stage. And sometimes like, you just have to go, yes, and just like embrace it. And like, you make it on stage, it's like, it's not like you plan it beforehand and then it happens. It's like, sometimes you just need to jump on that fucking stage and just like start building the fucking plane while you're up there. And it's like, not being afraid of that, not being like, oh, I need to figure out what I'm doing and sort of think about it. It's like, no, you're up there just. And so it was this amazing moment of chemistry. Plus, it was like fucking unhinged and freeing. I think that was liberating. I mean, what a great fucking iconic, image of just like breaking free, shirtless. That's what Iggy Pop gives to us. It's like this dude, no shoes, no shirt, no problem. And so, I mean, it couldn't, that was such a beautiful fucking what to just bust the whole no, night wide open and just show everybody like, whoa, this is like going to be exciting. This is going to be wild. I thought the Iggy Pop night gave permission. The thing about the open mic is like I'm usually very careful because it's my job and I want to maintain a good relationship with the venue. It's not really the place for me to just go ape shit like a System Lord concert. Like that's why I love doing System Lord. And I need a place where I can just go and scream on stage and fucking roll around because that's what I'm good at. Okay. I've tried to sort of hold that bet side back because it scares people, but that's what I'm good at. I'm good at screaming and rolling around. And so the Iggy Pop night kind of, I felt, okay, it's Iggy Pop night. I've got a little bit of license to be nuts. And so there's this amazing picture of Iggy Pop where he's like literally bent over backwards, like looking into the crowd. And so I kept trying to do that where I was like limboing. And I was just doing some pro wrestling bumps and shit, falling, and I like doing that shit. I have to do that stuff. I have to do clown, physical. Iggy Pop is this kind of like bouncy pogo clown punk. Like he's a puckish, roguish kind of Dionysian satyr. He is the like the guide into the darkness, into the unknown, into the fun house. And so I'm going ape shit up there, which like I said, I don't typically do because I don't want to break anything. I don't want to, I don't want to break a mic stand or whatever, like I did at Freddy's, or a bass drum like I did at Pete's. It's not uncommon for me to break things during shows. So I really have to, I have to really like keep it bottled up and be a professional, like I have to be a professional. It's my job. I treat it like, professionally. And so, but Monday was Iggy Pop night. So Ed had sent me a message a few hours before the open mic where he's like, hey, is it cool if I go first? I want to play. I want to be your dog. And I'm like, I was going to play I want to be your dog because I want to be your dog is literally like 3 fucking notes. It's G to E minor. That's the whole fucking song. And so I'm like, fuck, I was just going to play it real brief, even though like I don't know the words. I don't know anything about it. I was just going to make it up as part of my like beginning of show Iggy Pop medley. But then I sort of figure, okay, well, I'll start with the karaoke tonight. Then I'll do Search and Destroy. Then I'll bring Ed up and we'll do I Want to Be Your Dog together. I want there to be more moments of collaboration on stage. I want there to be more. That's when fireworks happen, is when there's like, I love when people go up by themselves, but like the fireworks really happen when there's, multiple kind of voices on stage and shit like that. And so Ed and I play I Want to Be Your Dog. I thought he was going to play guitar. He brought a guitar, but he ended up not bringing up on stage, and he ended up just none of the piano mic or nothing was turned on because I thought he was going to play guitar. But in any case, I'm going ape shit, and I'm playing this fucking song. I want to be because it's I Want to Be Your Dog. I mean, it's one of the ultimate. That's what that song is. It's like a fucking it's you have to be a dog. You got to roll around on the floor and get down in the fucking mud. And so somehow the microphone ended up on the ground, but I'm the only one playing the song. So I've got to kind of like play the song. I can't like let it go because this whole shit will just stop. And the microphone's on the ground, so I like get down on the ground to like sing into the microphone. I always end up on the floor. My favorite thing to do on stage is to lay down on the floor. I don't know why. I'm just so lazy. I'm just that lazy. I want to be Perry Como, Mr. Relaxation, like on SCTV. So anyway, I'm on the floor and I'm singing into this fucking microphone. I want to be your dog and shit. Next thing I know, I look up and the owner of the building is standing right there over us. Like, what the fuck are you doing? So I get up real fast because he's my boss, and I'm thinking, oh shit, I hope he's not upset. And Ed kind of, got up real fast and kind of straightened himself out. And I think he was worried about the piano because that song has a piano part. I Want to Be Your Dog. A lot of those Stooges songs, they're kind of, for punk music, the instrumentation is kind of weird. A lot of them have acoustic guitars, and a lot of them have this weird kind of like droning kind of piano part that's just like this ringing like do dead dead. It's just one note like in octaves that just like goes the whole fucking song. And so Ed, I think, was playing that. And so I'm thinking, oh great. But at the same time, like that insanity and that chemistry and that kind of like collaboration, that excitement, that creates it. Just, I don't know, it busts down the door for everybody, and it allows everybody to kind of like just have a good time. That is really the goal. My goal is to send waves of good energy out there through that room, as much as I can, whether it's laughter, music, just good moments of good performance and support and positivity, and not shutting energy down, not contradicting people, not necessarily confronting, just flow good energy. And when you go that big at the beginning, I think it just breaks the dam down for everybody. And there didn't really seem to be more people than usual. I think the last few months we've had about the same number of people pretty much every Monday. And it's probably 50 people or something. Or, over the course of the night, maybe more than that, 60 or something. People come in, they leave, early people, late people, mid people. Some people stay the whole time, but it's like there are shifts almost. It's almost like 3 shows. The first hour and a half is one show, the middle is a show, and then the last hour is like a show. Different audiences, different spectators. And yeah, so I don't know. It was a breakthrough in a way, like it helps to have people come to perform that, like, that you've conferred with beforehand. Like they're going to bring something, they're going to do an Iggy Pop song, they're in on it, they're compliant, they're committed to the theme, and they make it real. When they do that, it makes it real for everybody else. And it just felt appropriate. I mean, it's the East Village, it's East 4th Street, it's right near the Bowery, it's right near CBGB and all that shit. Like, there should be a fucking punk rock energy in there at times, I mean, and for me, like, I'm always being responsible. It's like wrestling, like if you're really like attuned, how far you can push it without there being any real danger, real risk. When to pull back. Like on Monday when I'm rolling around the floor and stuff, like I know I'm not going to break anything. I'm being careful with the guitar and being careful with the equipment, even though it looks like I'm just going fucking nuts and careless and reckless. And this is like a diary. There's just certain things I need to talk about because they're like personal shit that happened to me in the last few days. I don't know if this is really interesting. It's not like politics or anything like that. It's not like an outward facing thing. This is literally just like the this field journal, the kind of summarizing of recent autobiography. This is part of the, because like I said, it was a breakthrough. We've never made this much money before. And so, like, I think by cutting loose, people want to cut loose. They want to drink, they want to party, they want to have a good time. It's a weird time for drinking now because there's so much awareness and there's so much discourse in the culture now about drinking's bad for you. Gen Z doesn't drink. People are it's sober October. There's always it's sober it's dry January. It's like there's always some kind of fucking sober holiday. And it sucks because, to be honest, like I love drinking. Drinking is fun. It really is horrible. It's just part of the horrible design of human existence that like everything that feels good is will kill you and everything that like sucks is like great for it. Like vegetables. Nobody wants to eat or like exercise. That sucks, but it's good for you. Whereas like drinking literally will age you. It's the worst thing you can do to your body. But it's elevating in this crazy way. Like I do think it helps people like bond. And it helps us like just have I don't know, there's a lot of magic that happens. I hate to fucking say it. There's merry old England and shit. I'm picturing like taverns full of people just cutting loose. And like, I don't think drinking to excess or being an alcoholic, like I drink once a week maybe. That's plenty. You don't necessarily need to drink every fucking day. But it it sucks that it's so fucking bad for you that like even doing it once a week is probably like really irresponsible and not sustainable. Like it's bad for your teeth, it's bad for your skin, it's bad for fucking everything. Your liver, you'll get cancer, you'll get heart disease. It's horrible. It's calories, but it feels so good and it just helps so much. You get more confident. You're able to bond with people better. I don't know. That's like the secret you discover in high school. Things are so fucking socially awkward in high school and middle school. You don't know how to talk to anybody. And then, suddenly everybody's partying on the weekend and drinking. And it's like, oh, wow. Now we can sort of relax and like, this guy's actually pretty cool. We can actually hang. That's how people hang. Like drink. I hate to say it, but like drinking is like, I guess, you don't need it, but I don't know how the entertainment business like would work in any other way. My approach to entertainment has been like, or at least my understanding of it is like, especially in music, it's like you're there to sell beer, essentially. I mean, that's what the bar does. Like, there would be nobody there if they didn't sell, like, literally, the bar doesn't sell anything else hardly. I mean, everybody at open mic gets these fucking ginger ales and shit because they don't want to drink because it's Monday and drinking is horrible for you. But like, that's all the bar sells. And so what else are we supposed to do? Like, what are we, if everything in our life is so economically driven that like, this is what forces us. Like, don't get me wrong, like people do readings in bookstores and libraries, and there's other venues for like literary events, but like show business, unless you're selling, I guess, tickets, but even, if you're playing a fucking arena, part of the reason why they have, Jay-Z at the fucking arena is so they can sell a bunch of booze at the fucking concession stand. Or sports is the same fucking thing. I heard this thing today about how sports is like actually designed to like make you unhealthy because like all of like watching sports is about like eating terrible food like wings, nacho, whatever the fuck it is, Doritos, cookout, drinking, kegs and eggs, hangover buster. There's tons of fucking bad food, bad stuff. It's also like designed to just make you like unhappy, you're losing, whatever. I think that's probably one reason why sports is so like indoctrinated into people in this fucking country because it helps maintain people's kind of like depression. Get some, because most everybody's going to lose. Only one team can win. That means 29 other fucking markets are going to be like pissed off and angry every year. It's like It's a way to create a lot of sadness in a lot of people. I'm from Ohio. I know. That's all we have there. It's like fucking the Browns lose, the Indians lose, Cincinnati sucks, the Buckeyes blow it a lot of the time. When I was a kid, they were always blowing it. John Cooper, Jesus Christ. I learned real young not to put my fucking, my happiness on a bunch of fucking 19-year-olds playing football. I started to care about art, non-competitive things that like I don't know, impact. Not. I love sports. I love playing sports, and I love watching sports. But it's just a way to sell Budweiser, Bud Light. I mean, what the fuck do you see during football? It's all beer commercials, and they're practically part of the team. The Anheuser-Busch Clydesdales, like that's as much a part of the fucking Super Bowl as the Dallas Cowboys or any of it. Tom Brady. So, making money as, I come from the bar band. That's my like dream is like being a bar band. I don't know. I don't know. There's something honorable about it. There's something honorable about playing clubs and being that close to the audience, being in a cabaret, being and playing that long sets, being the entertainment, even being in a fucking wedding band. But it's like these are places where people are gonna fucking drink, and when God bless them, let them, please, more drinking. I wish, fuck it, what have we got to lose? Have a good time, all the time. Uh, and then I guess one day you get sober and you move on. But how did I start talking about that on the Iggy Pop thing? Well, because we made the most money we've made, and so I'm just like trying to unpack that, I guess, here on the internet publicly for everybody. For some reason, everybody needs to know my fucking personal business. But rowdy, I don't know. People when they're young, especially, I think you can get away with drinking until you're about 25 or 30. You might as well drink as much as you can because it does get harder as you get older. But who knows? I don't know. My fucking grandparents drank. They lived to be 90. Drank fucking beer out of cans. Bailey's Irish cream and shit. It's genetics, I guess. So anyway, yeah, the pop night was a fucking. Did something happen? Well, I almost got stabbed. I talked about that. Did anything else happen during the Iggy Pop night that I need to talk about? I think that was pretty much, the only notable, like, I mean, it was just a fun show. It was a great show. It did feel like we kind of got through, and I did drink a lot because it's Iggy Pop night, and I thought, what the fuck? It's Mike-tober, winning Mike-tober. And it does seem like the more I drink, or if I drink like a good amount, the show. I mean, people stayed a long time on Monday. A lot of people stayed a long time. And it's not always the case, depending on how the show is going. Like the previous week, we had some technical difficulties. The fucking guitar thing fucked up, and it really derailed the energy early on. And so a lot of people cleared out by 10 or 10:30. And I knew that was going to happen. I knew as soon as the energy kind of hit that bumpiness, I just knew that it was like, okay, this is awkward. People are feeling like this is unprofessional and weird and awkward, and let's get the fuck out of here. It's Monday. What are we even doing here? Whereas like on Iggy Pop night, they saw a guy take his shirt off, and they saw us rolling around the floor and shit. And they said, whoa, I'm going to get another drink. I want to be where that guy is. want to be a part of the magic. Yeah, so anyway, kudos to the team. More next week for My Dinner with Andre week. Let's break the record again for My Dinner with Andre week, everybody. I think we can do it. You know, if you thought Iggy Pop week was rowdy, should we do a Taylor Swift week? I mean, what do people? I know that's very like male. Every theme I do is kind of male, but how do people feel about the new Taylor? This is a new subject we're broaching here. What is it called? Life. The title is horrible. First of all, I listened to it, sort of, because the reviews on TikTok were just like, they just fucking, they trashed it. Oh, well, that was the other thing. Something happened to my phone on Monday. I dropped it or something, and now it doesn't work. Literally the receiver on my phone, if I try to talk to somebody on the phone, they cannot hear me. And the phone restarts every 2 minutes. So now I've got to get a new phone. That's how good Iggy Pop night was. I almost got stabbed and my phone broke. That's how much fun we had. And I made the most money I've ever made in one night. So yay. You know, I mean, that's exciting after 3 years of doing this to be getting, reaching new heights like Travis and whatever the fuck his brother's name, new heights. I just think it's part of the polarization. You know, the way social media just like hyper contrasts and elongates like the polarization. It's just like the height thing. It's like a self-fulfilling. It's like people start talking about it constantly. And so it just becomes this very obvious obsession where it's like everybody's talking about it in real life. And it becomes the interest in it just kind of hyper intensifies because it's almost like the fucking algorithm. It's just like one of these things that's in the algorithm. It's a way to pull. I mean, 90% of men are under fucking 6 feet tall or something. And so it's an easy way to piss off 90% of men and make them feel like shit. Is you just go, you're a short king if you're less than 6 feet tall and women don't want you. Here's some videos about it. And Travis is fucking 6'5", so he makes Taylor fucking feel like a little fucking dainty, he makes Taylor feel small. She wants to feel small and like he's giving her deep dick. He's got the redwood. It's not hard to see. I mean, okay, so good for her. Good for her for having fucking sexy lyrics. Here's what I will say is like the album is not a year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now, people will be listening to these fucking songs and singing along with them because they're catchy as fuck. She got that guy, Max Martin or whatever. I think it's the same team who made whatever her Lover album or whatever the fuck it was. Taylor Swift has some corny ass fucking songs that like everybody fucking, or at least women, all women know them. They know fucking, or anybody ever under 40 knows fucking Blank Space or Shake It Off or and so is this album fucking folklore? Like, no, it's not like some deep, pseudo poetry. It's like, I think Taylor Swift is super influenced by rap. She's basically like, if she makes rhymes, and this fucking album is stuffed to the fucking gills with like brain rot internet speak. There's tons of fucking like internet slang in this album, which is like my poetry actually. My poetry, it's like any kind of fucking internet term I can slap into a fucking poem. I absolutely will do it. And so, the lyrics are fucking corny and cringe. I mean, Taylor Swift is like cringe person. It feels like they invented that word for Taylor Swift fans anyway. I mean, they're so fucking pathetic. And I like Taylor Swift. And people will be bumping this fucking album. They will. Even though they're trashing it now, like people will be talking about Travis's hard dick and whatever. She's getting dick down. The whole album is about it does feel racist and it does feel MAGA. You know, I guess somebody said it was billionaire brain rot. You know, like what's her fucking song about? I like my friends canceled. Come on, man. Uh, like I don't really buy this thing that like the culture has gone conservative or like people want or conservative is cool. I think that's like a weird media like force down our throat thing. I mean there's definitely people that think that and like yeah, there's more country bars in New York now and there's more there's a lot of fucking jock assholes that like, I don't know, think they're cool, but it's weird to see Taylor Swift like sort of embrace that and kind of just like be MAGA in a way. Like, is that the fucking Travis Kelsey fucking like I get it, like they're both theater kids. The guy's got like this I don't know, he's kind of annoying if you ask me. He was definitely the most annoying thing about Happy Gilmore too. He doesn't seem like a bad guy. Like he seems cool. He reminds me a lot of the people I fucking grew up with, went to college with. Like he seems like a cool guy, but this is like Taylor Swift's fairy tale. And well, that's the other thing about the album is like Taylor Swift's like system of metaphors is like all about like castles and princesses, and it's all this like little girl shit. And it's like this album feels like it takes place in that same kind of like mental imaginary dream space that like all of her stuff takes place where it's like it's about princesses. It sounds like a fucking 13-year-old girl wrote it or something in her fucking diary. But she's very precocious and like, encourageable and adorable with her like the way she surprises you and shit. Like I said, I think she's influenced by hip hop. She's trying every rhyme to like make play on words and make cultural references and uh make it pop lyrically. It's really lyric, but she's got tons and tons of vocal hooks and shit. That's all the fucking listener cares about. Like as long as Taylor Swift can buy hooks and she's part of the process of making them, she's part of the songwriting team that's talented enough to like make her shit. And so it's like people will be listening to this fucking album. It's not as bad as everybody is saying it is. Like they will be popping that shit in clubs. Is it cringe? Yes. It's embarrassing? Yes. That she's 35, 36, and she's still living in this fucking headspace of like an 8-year-old. Uh and I just think she's dick drunk, okay? I'm gonna come I think that like I think women in general, maybe now more than ever, are just like uh they're never going to be satisfied. It's like that Shania Twain song. So you're Brad Pitt. So what? That doesn't impress me. What else? What else? What else do you got? It's like there's always going to be some reason why the guy's not perfect or not good enough or I mean with Taylor Swift especially, it's like I mean, she can date whoever the fuck she wants. She's a super success. She's a billionaire. She's 6 feet fucking tall. She's probably one of the most famous people in the fucking world. Uh, you know, she plays a that's why I get it with this guy. She sees it's like they're kind of parallels. They both play arenas. He's won a bunch of fucking Super Bowls. He's tall enough that he makes her feel tiny, which is sort of a weird patriarchal kind of standard that women have for themselves. They want a man that like makes them feel tiny. They don't want to feel like a giantess or like an ogre next to some short king. Okay, I do want to talk about AOC said something about what did she say? Hegseth. Or no, she said Stephen Miller is 4'11. She said Stephen Miller is like, what is he like? He's like, So AOC is supposed to be above this shit, okay? AOC is supposed to be like a fucking woke, like, body positive, sensitive fucking, policing her speech like the rest of us have to, like I think we might need to bring back body shaming. It's the only way. If they're gonna, I just think like there's no like there's a women have an unrealistic idea of their own uh attractiveness or something, because everybody's beautiful now, and yet men are like no man is good enough. There's a famine of like hot guys. There's like a fuck, and it's like that's we need to bring back body shaming. to just give some perspective. That was what kept things in balance, whereas AOC, that's kind of the problem, is like that's her criticism of the guy. That's like the worst thing she can say about him. Like in a woman's mind, it's the worst thing in the world to call a woman fat, because it's like, oh, women get eating disorders, like they get sensitive about that. It hurts their feelings. It's like, what about all the fucking guys that are killing themselves or feel like hopeless because they're 5'3" or 5'2" or 5'1" or worse? And yet the whole fucking society, all of the hot women are like, oh yeah, short king, you're a short king. Even AOC, who's supposed to be this fucking like leftist, extreme fucking woke socialist, she's like, oh yeah, this guy's Stephen Miller is a short piece of shit. Let's shit on him because he's 4'11". Ew. Oh, Stephen Miller sucks so bad he's only 4'11". Like, that's the worst thing I can say about this guy, who's literally a Nazi and like ugly and just like a bad person. It's like the worst thing I can possibly think of to say about this guy is like, he's fucking 4'11". Like, that's, I don't know. It's just, it's fucked up how brazen particularly women are with that, throwing that around, and the most fucked up part is like, you can't even complain about it or say anything about it because they think you have a complex. They think like, I don't really like short guys, but part of the reason why I don't like short guys is because they're really angry about it. They all have like a complex about it. It's like, I don't care if you're short. I'll never fuck you ever. But like, the reason I don't like you is because you're like angry about it. You have like a complex. It's like, yeah, we have a fucking complex because the whole fucking culture just shits on, something that is like completely beyond your control. And like, it's it's a ridiculous. You're either 6 feet tall or you're a short king. It's like, there's no middle ground. And so if you complain about it, all people hear is, wah, wah, wah. They just hear this little munchkin going, nah, nah, nah. I'm not short. I'm not short. Yeah, okay, all right. I'll be here with all the babes. I'm 6'2". They don't want to be around you if you're less than 6 feet tall. You are subhuman. For the most part. I mean, there's ways around it. It's not a hard and fast rule, but so AOC got called out about this. I know, it's and she issued like sort of a corrective where she said, she used the word short king in her like political, like public, response, in her like press release, her official statement. She used the term short king. I think she said something about how she loves short kings, or she doesn't hate short kings. Let's see exactly what AOC said about short kings. AOC offers bonkers defense after mocking Stephen Miller's height. Oh, we're insecure. He's insecure. That's really what it's about. He's insecure. Okay.
Ocasio-Cortez took to social media to declare her love for short kings. I want to express my love for the short king community. I don't believe in body shaming, AOC said. I am talking about how big or small someone is on the inside. Like, for example, I have no idea how tall Andrew Tate is, but that guy to me looks like 5'3", like 5'3", 5'4". Whereas physically, men of a smaller stature come across, they are spiritually 6 foot. The problem is she's she's doubling down because she's equating being short with like negative and being 6 feet with like being positive. Like that, and it's like that's the fucking problem. Exactly. That's the problem. Is like you're judging somebody. By the way, AOC is 5'4". So that's the other fucking fucked up part about this double standard and this body shaming of short people is like if you're a woman, doesn't matter. You can be 5'1", you can be 5'3", you can be 5'7", you can be, like you can be hot at any fucking height. Like a guy will have sex with you if you're 4'10". They're not going to be like, "Oh, you're a short bitch." You're fucking short. They might say it, but like they're not going to be turned off. Whereas like women don't want to have anything to do with you. They do not respect you. Like she says, it's that guy looks to me like 5'3". She thinks of somebody as 5'3" as like being like Andrew Tate. So if you're 5'3", you're basically like Andrew Tate to AOC. And this is somebody that's supposed to be like, I don't know, inclusive or whatever. Uh Here's the original thing she said. He looks like he's angry about the fact that he's 4'10". And he looks like he's so mad that he's 4'10" that he's taking that anger out on any other possible. I think Stephen Miller is 5'10". He's not even short. He's like he's spiritually 5'3". He's not a fucking short king. And so it's just infuriating that this has been like this is now like public knowledge that this is how women feel. This is literally like let's just be honest about it. Like maybe not all of them, but like AOC is like, supposed to be like a liberal, like bleeding heart type fucking person. She doesn't believe in body shaming. But she doesn't even understand that she is doing it, really. And she doesn't care either. And for even talking about this, I just look like a fucking loser. I just look like a whiny little fucking midget. I look like I'm in the fucking lollipop guild. Oh, short kings. We're short. We're not short kings. King of what? So I will always complain about the height discourse because, I mean, particularly in the moment of like woke inclusivity, a lot of times it's the woke people who like, like AOC is fucking woke. That's her whole fucking brand. And like, I like AOC. She's 5'4". Like, what fucking room does she have to talk? If you're under fucking 5'6" and you're a woman, you shouldn't be able to use the fucking word short king. And you should date somebody your own fucking size, for Christ's sake. I get it. Like, I understand. If you're a woman, you're 5'8", you're 5'9", you're 6 feet tall, you don't want to date somebody short. I understand that. I can see why you would feel that way. I also think that like that is part of body dysmorphia for women. I really think it's an issue for women more than it is for men because I am not. This sounds crazy because I know I complain about this a lot on the internet publicly to people that I watch this, whoever they are. But like, I am not insecure about my height. I really am not. I like being as tall as I am. I do not. I'm glad that I don't have to fucking like, get all cramped on a fucking airplane and like I couldn't even imagine getting on the Chinatown bus if I. That's why guys that are 6 feet tall don't have to ride the China. They have real jobs. They're CEOs and shit because everybody thinks they're alpha males because they're fucking tall. Whereas short kings like me, we're tiny for the Chinatown bus and broke. because nobody believes anything we say because we look like these little, hey guys, believe me. It's this way. Well, shut the fuck up. I'm gonna be with all of the women over here. I'm 6'3". Fuck you. We don't need you. You're a fucking piece of shit. Me and AOC are gonna be over here. She's 5'4". I'll be with all the women who are 5'3". So anyway, I think it's an issue with women where it's like our society. It is like a fucking page. It's probably biological, right? They are just attracted to this. They want a guy who's big and strong and like can grab shit off the top shelf for them, and get things down and protect them and shit. But it's just weird how it's the number one priority, and it feels like an insecurity on their part that they need somebody that big, or they will feel big, just being next to you. Like I'm 5'8". If a woman is 5'10" next to me, she might feel like a freak. She'll feel like I'm a giant. She doesn't want to feel that way. She wants to be around Travis Kelce. Like Taylor Swift. Is Taylor Swift 6 feet tall? She's 5'10", something. She's something like that. And Jacob Elordi's 6'5". I just think well, the other thing about it is like I feel like it's infantilization. To me, men are on the converse, men are attracted to what? Like big boobs, right? That is like the male equivalent, I feel like, because if you're infantilized as a man, that's your like baby image of like what feminine woman's, like that's a Freudian association you're gonna have sexually, is like a woman's, breastfeeding or whatever. And so as an adult, you're compensating for this arrested development you're in, which I think our culture does put us in this arrested development where we're meant to be these just like little infantilized kind of babies, just like being spoon-fed shit by our phones at this point, and not thinking, not asking questions, just sort of like reacting in this kind of like stunned, amazed, mesmerized way. And for women, it's height. For guys, it's big boobs, because as a baby, that's like your security blanket. That's like your safety. That's like your pacifier, right? Is like a nipple. And so for a man, you're sexually attracted to big boobs because it's like, I'm a baby. I need big boobs. That's femininity. That's mama. That's woman's body or whatever, if that's what you're into. And for women, I think it's the same thing. It's like dada is this tall. If you're a baby, you're on the ground. You have daddy issues. Men have Oedipus complex. Women have daddy issues. It's great. It's beautiful the way that the intelligent design of our Lord Christ through Christ. So women's daddy issues are they want to date Frankenstein. They want to fuck Lurch, They want to be with some guy that's fucking 6'5" or 6'6" or 6'10", because it's, wow, you're daddy. You're big. You'll protect me. You can pick me up off the ground and sweep me off my feet and provide for me. And that's what I'm looking for. That's what my feminine energy, that's masculinity. That's like this heightened, exaggerated masculinity. It's not muscles. It's not being jacked. It's being tall. And it's all, I don't know, for whatever reason, just genetically, people think that that's like better. Like taller is better. I don't want my genetics like fucked up with like some short king. I need like a taller man so we have tall babies, so they won't get fucked over like all these short kings who are going to die out. And like, okay, like I know I've talked about this forever. because I don't know, my algorithm just rubs it in all the fucking time because it knows that it just like it irks me, and it creates this insecurity. It manufactures an insecurity to the point that like that's the point of the algorithm, is to just like find whatever you're fucking like you know uh not Achilles heel, your pet peeve. The algorithm is designed to pinpoint your pet peeve with laser fucking precision and exploit your fucking insecurities. And so for me, it's like it's this fucking stupid height thing and how women are obsessed with it. You know, I could care less. That's the most fucked up part is like I'm an average height. I'm like a middle king. I'm very much a middle king. I feel bad. Like I do feel bad for like if you're shorter than 5'6", like I feel bad. Like that fucking sucks for you. But it's not by no means is a deal breaker. I mean, look, there are people we know. I won't name names or anything, but like they do very well. It's like it's not a deal breaker. Just because you're short doesn't mean like women will never like you ever. Like there are definitely people that like it's not a factor really. Like they have overcome that, but uh it's also well this AOC thing just kind of I think highlights like uh like what can we do about this? It's a cultural insensitivity, let's just say that. Like if there's this male loneliness epidemic, there's all these men who are unhappy. This is part of it. There's all these because like I said, 85% of guys or whatever are not 6 feet tall. That's most of them. And so like you got to assume there's some percentage of guys on the internet that are reading this shit and just thinking I'm fucked. This is just another reason to be unhappy. AOC is mocking me for being fucking short, even though it's Stephen Miller. There's plenty of things that are repugnant about the man that have nothing to do with like how fucking tall he is. And he's not even short. So you're just like associating short people with all these fucking horrible. It's just insensitive. Like we've gone out of our way to sort of like be more sensitive about women's bodies, and that's good. I think that's progress. It's good that we're not living in this like body shaming heroin chic, but like I said, I think it's created it. That's part of what has thrown off the gender dynamic, is like women just they their sense of what is attractive in a man is just like they look at most men now and just think they're not impressed. I don't know. I guess they think they all deserve Andrew Garfield. And they won't settle. But it's like you can't appeal to the logic of it. It's not about that. It's just like this is the way it is. Everybody's got to find their own way around it. The reason why I'm talking about this like at length is because like socially the way this is affecting men, I think it's part of the we need to figure out ways to like I mean because I do think social media kind of has a bias towards women, or at least some women. It's like uh that's just another thing. Is like women can get shitloads of followers, they can get a lot of attention on Instagram, on TikTok, whatever. It's like for men, what are they supposed to do? Like there's all social media is doing for them is poisoning their fucking sense of like self-worth. And that seems to be the design, like advertising is always been meant to sort of like figure out what your insecurity is and like exploit it by making you feel like you need to buy the product in order to like fill some hole in yourself. If you want people to love you, if you want women to like you, if you want whatever happiness, you got to buy, you know, these cigarettes or this car or this whatever the hell it is, these clothes, like the people in the ads. And social media just feels like kind of a more pinpointed, targeted way of doing the same thing, where it's like, uh, how can we figure out how to undermine this person's confidence and fucking, why do they want us to feel like shit all the time? Because that's what drives engagement, I guess. Weird. It's weird. I think it's just, I don't know if that is what drives engagement. What drives engagement is like we have these phones. Like they're unbelievable. They could put anything in fucking TikTok and it would be, or Instagram. Like one of the most interesting feeds I ever had was I used to have a bookmark. It was the most recent images posted to Live Journal. It was not curated. There was no fucking algorithm. There was no fucking, it was literally just like all of the most recent images that anybody had posted to Live Journal. So it was all this crazy fucking random shit. And it's like that was more interesting than looking at Instagram now with the algorithm that's like supposed to like be tailored to like your what you want to see or who God knows what. It doesn't seem, like they could put any fucking thing in your Instagram feed and it would probably be more interesting than the ways that they're trying to like emotionally batter you by giving you FOMO or making you jealous or and so it seems to me like they know they have a captive audience and what they want to do is make us miserable and broken and like hopeless. It seems like the whole effort of like this billionaire class and the Trump thing is to like make us give up and surrender and just like break people, kill people because they're old, they're infirm, they lose their health insurance, they lose their VA benefits, and they just weed people out. They weed out the poor people, they weed out the handicapped people, whatever. And I mean, the social media, all it's doing is creating like all of this fucking like pressure and buildup of unhappiness and despair in people. And the short king thing feels like a part of that. And it is like disheartening to see women just like, or just everybody just piggyback on that and throw that term around. And it, because the internet is like shaping and polarizing this issue, it is manifesting in real life. Whereas like now it really is like hyper intensified where like women are obsessed with tall guys and like everybody everywhere sees it and I don't know. It like that guy Somber, fucking Somber. I mean, I know when Hosier came out, I was like, I get why this guy's famous. Or Father John Misty, kind of the same thing. Like they're all tall. Like Father John Misty's like 6'2", 6'4". Hosier's like really, he looks like fucking Jason Momoa. And then this guy Somber, it's like the same fucking thing. It's like he's like weirdly tall. The Dare is fucking weirdly tall. Jacob Elordi is like weirdly fucking tall. Austin Butler is like weirdly fucking tall. Pete Davidson is really fucking tall. It's like pretty much every fucking guy out there. It's like that is like the shared characteristic is like they're fucking like stretched out, tall ass fucking guys. Good for them. What the fuck? I don't know. What the hell are the rest of us supposed to do? Just fucking play with ourselves, play video games, I guess. That's what they're doing. That's what the short kings are doing. They've given up. And they're not shooting up churches. They're on Xbox Live, probably. So I do want to talk about this film that I worked on because that was my big thing this week. Well, I've been doing this fun ballet thing, this ballet poetry thing. Went to the 92nd Street Y. That was super fun. Shout out to Susan Kirschbaum. And then Wednesday, so about a week and a half ago, there's this film this guy's making about poetry. The character in the film is a poet. And so the director had seen me read and liked it. And he kind of wanted me to be a little bit of like a consultant on this movie, talk to the lead actor, because the lead actor is like this poet character in New York. And it's not based on me or anything, but like they wanted me to talk to the actor to sort of like give them some background about like poetry life, just that whole world, just like fucking, when Robert De Niro goes and drives a taxi or whatever. So the actor actually came to the open mic once on Monday at KGB. And unbeknownst to me, they were in the crowd, which was awesome. And then, so we met at Soho House, and he basically like drilled me for like a couple hours. It was amazing. He had great questions. He was writing it all down in this notebook. It was like a magazine piece. I mean, his questions were like amazing. And I was just sort of like, talking about poetry mentality or whatever, the growth of that, the lifestyle of that, just the kind of nuts and bolts, having a notebook, what poetry you might read. And it's really a good script. Like, I'm really happy to be involved with this project because it's like really a good, I've been in a lot of film stuff. It's something I used to do in Ohio. I was in some film stuff and it was a lot of fun, but it was also kind of like I got burnt out on it in a way. And when I moved to New York, it's just like it's so imposing trying to like penetrate the industry here. We're just like, how do I go to classes? How do I get in front of like casting directors? You got to pay them. It's just like, how the fuck do I do this? Headshots. I got to get the same lame fucking headshots everybody else is getting. And I got to send my fucking resume to like back. Like, I just hated all of that shit. And that's why I became what I became, because it's like, I just wanted to be an artist. I just wanted to I did want to write poetry and focus on that. And that's why I started doing vlogs and shit, because it's just like, this was sort of a more organic, fluid, lyrical way to make films for me and to perform in my life, to film it, to do performances, film those, and to, sew it together into these like, lyrical vlog movie things that just sort of are unspooling and ongoing rather than scripted and budgeted and all that shit. But, it's something I've been trying to get back into. I've been trying to get back into like doing background stuff because it's a good way to make money. And dude, if I could make money as an actor, it'd be like, the best way to make a living while doing writing stuff. Because it's like you have tons of downtime, you can read. It's always interesting experiences, interesting people. And like I said, the script for this was really good. The characters are great, the dialogue's great. Like, I've done a lot of, indie film or theater stuff, and it's like the quality can be all over the place. But this, I was like, this is a good project. I want to be involved with this. I want to help any way I can. And the director was nice enough to give me a part in the fucking movie. I had one line in the fucking script, but it's like, it's a real part. It's not just like I'm a fucking guy in the background or some shit. It's like I'm in the fucking scene. It's sort of a cameo. And I thought that was artistic. Like he knows what he's doing. That's why I'm like really excited to be involved, because it's like it's very artistic the way he's sort of orchestrating it and putting it all together. And it's cool. It's cool. And the vibe on the set was like so fucking unbelievably good. It was definitely the best vibe of any set I've ever been on. And so I just learned a lot just doing it. And it was nice to have like a good experience, because so many, so many experiences you have working on films is just like they take advantage of your time. It can be dangerous, they're not necessarily that considerate with certain shit. The hours can be long, they call you, they won't use you, you don't get paid hardly anything, you get cut out, whatever the fuck it is. There's a million reasons why it can be a waste of time. But it's fun making movies, and I don't like, the past few years I've been watching all of these fucking movies, and it's like, and I feel like in some weird unconscious way it's been like some kind of weird film school or something. Like, I don't know. Even though the movie industry is dying, I'm like, this is something that I sort of know how to do, and why not try to like pursue that in a more kind of concerted way as like a creative outlet. I've always wanted to make a real fucking movie. Like, why not try something like that? Why, Ashley is like a filmmaker. She went to like a filmmaking high school, and I think she has aspirations to like really do that in like a serious way. And so that's kind of inspiring to me to think more about it. Like, okay, why the fuck not? Why not write a script and make a real movie? I love doing the vlogs and stuff, but just thinking about how this stuff travels, movies have like a permanence that a lot of this social media content does not have. And it's like, I don't know, I don't really want to be an influencer. It would be cooler to make like actual kind of narrative things, something that is a little more staying power. Like if you make a feature film, it's kind of a good product to put a lot of ideas into, in a way that like a vlog isn't, or even like maybe a book or live performance certainly isn't, or like a live stream certainly isn't. Like a movie can kind of travel, like it's kind of self-contained. And so I've been thinking recently, it's like I need some kind of big project, like I need something that's going to like put me on the map, like I need like some kind of big ambitious thing, and it's like I've got my city life book, and that's that in a way, but a movie is something that like is kind of, it could reach a bigger audience, potentially, particularly with all the streaming and shit like that now. Like, even though they're talking about how Hollywood is dying, like I don't really think that's true in New York. In New York, they're building all these fucking sound stages and stuff. Like De Niro just built this fucking soundstage in Queens, and like I'm pretty sure Netflix has built a bunch of new stuff, and like there's fucking sound stages downtown. It's like they're filming a lot of shit in New York City. Like LA might be dying because they don't have the same tax incentives, but like, and I'm kind of used to it. I mean, doing video shit, the set was a lot like the video sets I've been on, where it's like there's hair, there's makeup, there's wardrobe people, there's craft services. The fucking craft services were bomb. Oh yeah, so I got called in to work on the movie yesterday to do my scene. Or I guess it was Wednesday. And I didn't know what the deal was. I didn't get that much information about it. But I had one line. It wasn't a big deal, and the director was so nice about it. Like he asked me to do it. He thought of the part. I didn't have to fucking audition. He just thought this would be funny to have this guy in my movie because it's a movie about poetry, and the joke is that I play this guy who writes jingles. And so I think that's really funny that like the joke is that I'm like this real life poet guy, but I'm playing like this fucking guy who writes jingles, like this compromised. And so, I just think that's such an artistic, like I respect that decision so much. Like I trust that. I think that's such a good idea. Like I like collaborating with people, and like I feel like maybe I would be better at it now than I was when I was younger. But I had success auditioning for films when I was younger. Pretty much everything I fucking auditioned for, I got cast in. I just got discouraged because I did commercial acting and I never got cast in any fucking TV commercials. But like, I didn't want to be in goddamn commercials. If I could have gotten a fucking movie, I would have been in a movie. But so it was nice to just have somebody totally out of the blue just like contact me to like be in this fucking movie. And it's like, dude, they're shooting it on fucking 35 millimeter, I think. Or maybe it was 16, but it's film. They're shooting it on film. And like the cinematographer is really fucking good. It's like it's a fucking great crew. So it's like I was thrilled to be involved. It was like, especially now, it's like I just lost my other fucking job, so it's nice to have something that's like, okay, the the door closed, but the window opened, or whatever that expression is. Never closes a door without opening a window. So it's like, okay, this is kind of a new direction to go with this. Like, let me be a poet, actor, filmmaker. Like I was in McNally Jackson yesterday. I saw David Duchovny has a fucking poetry book out. Have people seen this? It wasn't too bad actually. David Duchovny, he said he fucking studied in the PhD program at Yale with Harold Bloom. So unsurprisingly, Hank Moody is a Harold Bloom bro. Not surprised at all. He's a bro-it. Of course, he's in Red Shoe Diaries, for Christ's sake. Of course, Duchovny is a bro-it. Sex addict bro-it. His book was pretty good. I will say it's better than Billy Corgan's book. It was one of the better poetry actor books, I would say. He went to Yale. I mean, Jesus Christ. He said he grew up in the East Village, so he grew up right near St. Mark's Church, but I don't know if he knew about that or what. But in any case, so I'm in this fucking movie. So I go to Chipotle on my way to the shoot because I'm like, I want to eat beforehand. And, I didn't sleep very much the night before because Ashley's gone. And just like, usually when I have a shoot the next day, I can't really sleep because I just get nervous and I have a lot of energy about, what's going to happen and I want it to go well. And so, I looked like shit. My eyes are all puffy and shit. But, the show must go on. And so we were originally shooting in this office on Central Park South, which was incredible, but it didn't really work for the scene, I guess. And so they moved it. It was down on Bond Street, this office. So it was right near KGB in like that, what is that, NoHo, I guess, is what that neighborhood is. Between Broadway and like whatever, Bowery. And so I get there, and as I'm rolling up, I see right out front, they've got this fucking nice craft service spread. They've got steak, they got fucking salmon, they got fucking salad, little cake, strawberry cake. So it's like, not only, are you working on this movie, but like you're eating really nice. Oh, so I went to Chipotle before. So I'm in fucking Chipotle. This was on Wednesday, and I ran into fucking Nathan Wilder again. I run into him everywhere. I'm in Chipotle eating my fucking burrito. Nathan Wilder walks in with Angel Diaz. Shout out to Angel Diaz. So that was like, the third time I'd run into him in a week. It's meant to be, it's Iggy Pop night. I took my shirt off at the end. I didn't take my shirt off at the beginning. I took my shirt off at the end of Iggy Pop night. I didn't want to, that you could lose your job for that. No, I'm just kidding. So anyway, I roll up. There's this fucking unbelievable craft service. but I just eaten half a fucking Chipotle burrito, but I had to get some anyway, just cause. And so I go up, and like I said, the fucking set is super chill. They've got wardrobe people. They had me try on a couple blazers, kept corduroy shit. They had wardrobe for me. It fit perfectly. It's nice to be on a set where they treat you nice. You know, every set I've ever been on, they kind of treat you like a bitch because, like, not all of them, but like sometimes if you're like an extra or like you got a small part, they just treat you like your time is meaningless to them, and like they're gonna need whatever they need, and that's just a shitty way to treat actors. You know, to make the scene itself feel like it's an afterthought is like the worst thing you could do as a director. The scene should be the first fucking priority, and everything else should be. That's why I started filming shit with my goddamn phone camera, because it's just like I don't want to fuck with lights, I don't want to fuck with sound. I need immediacy. You know, I need real human moments. I want to capture that spontaneity. I don't want a bunch of fucking equipment that's going to like stilt the whole process and make it fucking weird. But, you know, I'm on fucking, I haven't been in a goddamn movie in like, I don't even know, 15 years or something. But, you know, I am on stage every week. So I'm like, you know, I wasn't that nervous. I was a little nervous because I'm like, you know, it sucks when you feel like you're not giving the director what they want, you know. But now that I'm older, I've done video for 15 years from like the other side where I'm filming shit and editing it. I realize just like in a certain way, you're just trying to get them pieces of footage, you know, like it's got to look right. Your head's kind of got to be in a place that looks nice. The way you say it's got to kind of, you just got to give them something they can use. That's like the best thing you can do as an actor. Just like give them shit where they're like, yes, yes, I got tons of shit I could use, I can choose from. Give them nice looking stuff, memorable stuff. And so you're kind of just giving them options of footage in a way. And you're just like modeling the dialogue and the character. This is my acting master class. I had one line in this fucking movie. So I get there and I'm upstairs and I'm talking to the director. Apparently Deborah Messing is in the movie. The cast, I don't know who all's in it, but the cast could be kind of stacked actually. Deborah Messing plays the poet's mom, which I think is so awesome. I think Deborah Messing is a fucking good actor. She was in some Adam Sandler movie or something we watched. And I was like, oh, Deborah Messing is pretty good actually. Anybody who Adam Sandler puts in a movie, it's like they've got something. Like he knows what the hell he's doing. And he's good at who he casts and stuff. They're just folks, you know, they're good people. That matters to him. And so you know, I'm waiting for my scene or whatever. I'm waiting in the fucking like the wardrobe backstage, whatever, holding. I don't know what the hell they call it. There's costumes, there's makeup people. They didn't put any makeup on me. They didn't really touch. I mean, I brought my own clothes. They said they were inspired by my wardrobe. And so they just gave me that blazer. It was corduroy, but it was all my own clothes and shit. That feels good. You know, like, you know, in my earlier acting experience, it felt like they want to kind of like pare you down to this kind of generic, like utilitarian thing that's sort of like without an identity or with sort of like normie identity. So like people who are watching the commercials can relate to you, but it's like that never really worked for me. It feels good to like, and I think that's smart for a filmmaker to be like, this person just has a vibe. They've got a cool look. I just want that in my movie. I think that's an opportunity for film. It is like this ensemble where it's like it's almost like a party. It's like I want these people at my fucking party. I want them in my um uh what are those called? Not collage. Those Joseph Cornell boxes. What the fuck are those things called? Not collages. Fuck. I can't think of the word. Assemblage. In my assemblage. I want fucking this poet guy. So the director was so nice. He kept introducing me to people as legendary New York poet, which feels good. And I mean, uh, I think it works for the movie. I think I'm the perfect person for that because I do understand this world. And I was really happy to be involved because, like I said, it's a good script. I do think people will see this movie. I love rom-coms. I've been kind of in a rom-com thing, living in uptown, living on the Upper West Side. It feels like you live in a rom-com. It feel like everything feels like a Nora Ephron movie from like the 80s. It all feels like a rom-com. And so I was really happy to be in a rom-com. I think it's a smart thing for actors to do. He's in tons of those James L. Brooks movies. He's in rom-coms. Owen Wilson is in rom-coms. Like it's not a dumb genre, like it's actually a pretty fucking adult genre. And it's romantic. So it's emotion. So women like it, that's good. And it's love stories, basically. But in any case, I'm really happy to be involved. I'm happy that they're making a movie about poetry. The word poet is in the title of the movie. I think that's really important. If this shows up on streaming stuff, I think it's cool that people have an option that's like this is the story of like a poet in New York City, and it feels like a really good like film version of like telling that story. This young person in New York, they have a part-time job, they write poetry, and it's sort of their self-realization as a young poet. I think that's really cool. I'm really honored and proud to be involved with a movie that like is going to put that out there. And like, hopefully fucking people all over the fucking country, young people will see it and be like, I want to do that. I want to be like that. I want to be a poet. I want to write. I want to live in New York. I want to fucking do readings. But my role in the movie, like I said, I play this guy who writes jingles. So in my head, I'm thinking Charlie Harper. The only thing I can think is fucking 2.5 Men, because that's what he does on 2.5 Men. Charlie Sheen on 2.5 Men. He's rich because he writes jingles. So he's got this Malibu beach house and shit. So I'm like, okay, am I Charlie Harper in this? But the direction was really good. I got really good direction about the character. I could really relate to it. To me, I was thinking about it like I've had a lot of job interviews with like cool video guys who like it's always interesting to be on a job interview with somebody that like thinks they're really cool. Like they're like an MTV VJ or something. Like or like Lars. I had a job interview with this guy once whose like vibe was like kind of like Lars from Metallica. Like Lars has this kind of way of talking where it's like, he's like trying to be cool and stuff and like be nonchalant and kind of blasé and stuff. And he's got like this. I didn't do any of this in the movie, but that was sort of like my inspiration. I had this job interview in the Seaport for a video job and it went so badly. I was showing the guy my reel and he was like a hipster, he looked like a skater, but like a corporate skater. He looked like if Tony Hawk was like a video guy or like just some nondescript Rob Dyrdek. He had kind of like ridiculousness vibes. And so he's watching my reel and we're watching together and he pauses it and he's like asking me questions about what lens did you use? And I'm like, I had no idea. I did not know the name of the lens. And I told him the wrong thing. And he's like, oh, yeah, really? Huh? That's the lens you used for that shot? And he could tell I was just bullshitting. And so that was the end of the interview, basically. And that's kind of what the scene is like. Like, I'm like this cool corporate artist guy, creative. But this guy's like a poet kid. And the interview doesn't go well. And so it's kind of that was my sense memory This is the behind the scenes. This is the commentary track. This is what I was doing with my one line. But I will say the director was fucking awesome. He encouraged us to like ad lib. He gave me a bunch more dialogue. You know, there was all this dialogue kind of like added when I came into the room. So it was super like organic. It was super like welcoming. It wasn't like you're an idiot. That idea sucks. Don't do that. You know, like it was super encouraging to be creative. He was like super decisive about what he wanted, what he didn't want, which I also think is super important. And so it was easy, you know, like you throw some stuff out there, he'd be like, don't say this, don't say this. That was great. I love that. Hilarious. That is like the, you know, fucking, I love that. You know, like that's the best director. A lot of times directors are not really giving you encouragement or compliments. And it's like, you can, you know, you're in front of the camera, the whole fucking crew is watching. And so it's easy to kind of like go into yourself and be like, oh, I'm fucking this up. I'm doing bad. And like, you know, they weren't hiring me as an actor. The guy, he was not hiring me because I've been in movies and shit. Like, he asked me that when he was talking to me about doing it, but like, he did not care about that. He wanted me in the movie because of my poetry and like he, you know, to have a real poet in the movie. And I'm like I said, I was sort of a consultant on it, and like, you know, I'm sure there's something about that milieu or whatever that like is in the movie. Um, and so like I think that that was really smart and artistic and like fucking hell yeah, I want to be, you know, that makes sense to me as an artist making decisions like that. And so like I said, I was super grateful to be there and it was an awesome experience. And so, but like I said, I haven't done this in 15 years. I really wasn't that nervous, but I'm thinking to myself, like, I don't want to fuck this up. I don't want to like, because all I can remember from doing commercial auditions 15 years ago is like being in front of the camera and having them just sort of stare at you like, okay, and just a lot of times you embarrass yourselves. You know, a lot of times at a commercial audition, there was this one audition, they made us dance to like Lionel Richie all night long. Holy shit. And they just wanted us to figure out how to make it funny and like they wanted like Rob Corddry or something. And we were just supposed to make that funny somehow and entertaining. Um, yeah, this is me just talking about like personal experiences, I guess, kind of at this point. It's not really politics or general interest stuff. What it was like working on this film. Let me get my water real fast. So he kind of gave me the rundown of like the character and stuff. And so I saw, okay, I get it. I'm like this like corporate compromised, you know, like kind of cheese dick or whatever. But I didn't want to, you know, I didn't want to overdo it. I didn't want to like do anything overstep my bounds. I just wanted to kind of like give them something they could use. Like I said, they're shooting on fucking film. I'm not an actor, or at least like I mean I am, but like I might as well have not have been. You know, they would have got me just if I was just a poet guy. So it's like I could have gone in there and been really bad and just not even not flubbed the lines and shit. Um, but I had one line. My line is, "Why do you want to make jingles?" That was my only line in the script. Why do you want to make jingles? And so it was almost like, you know, in Seinfeld, where it's like Kramer has that line in the Woody Allen movie, and he's like saying it over and over. These pretzels are making me thirsty. He's like saying it over and over again to like imagine how he's going to say it in the movie. These pretzels are making me thirsty. They're like, you know, they're hype. And he's like, he's just feeling it out. That's how I was over the last few weeks. I'm like, how am I going to say this line? Why do you want to make jingles? Why do you want to make jingles? You know, I'm like trying to think of all these David Brent. I'm thinking David Brent. Why do you want to work here? Shoot. Why do you want to make jingles? Why do you want to make jingles? And then I thought it'd be funnier. I thought it'd be funny if I was like, why do you want to be a jingle thug? Because the name of the company is Jingle Thugs. I thought it'd be, why do you want to be a jingle thug? Um, and to me, that whole idea of jingle thug, I was like, you could really extrapolate on this and make this a whole scene. It could have been a whole scene if it was in fucking Step Brothers or something. That was the other thing. I was thinking about those job interview scenes in Step Brothers. There's the one with Seth Rogen, and then there's the one with Rob Riggle. Pow! Why is that so fucking memorable? I don't know. It's so stupid. Pow! So I was just thinking of job interview scenes. And I was like, this could be Jingle Thugs could be a whole character. You know, this guy's world. And so I wrote some jingles, actually. I wrote some Jingle Thugs jingles. I'll do one. I think I did one last time. I'll do one now. Jingle Thugs. Jingle Thugs. Jingle Thugs. Jingle Thugs. Doing drugs. Giving hugs. Making cash. Shooting ads. Jingle Thugs. That's my Jingle Thugs jingle right there. But I don't know. That could have been a whole fucking scene where like the Jingle Thugs guy interviews poet guy, and it's just awkward as fuck because this guy's just such a, you know, if they got, you know, fucking you know, Jason Bateman to do it or fucking Will Ferrell or whatever, you could improv that whole fucking scene. But I wasn't trying to go in there necessarily and like really overstep my bounds. I just wanted to get what they needed to get without, you know, freaking everybody out or being fucking crazy, saying something weird. You know, because, you know, a lot of times they don't want your ad libs. They think, not that. And everybody's watching. The whole fucking crew is watching. Like, I have one goddamn scene. So I just wanted to do it and not fuck it up, basically. And it felt very natural, I got to say. When we were shooting it, they were very supportive. The other actor was super nice. Martin, he was so fucking nice, man. I don't know. I haven't really looked him up, so I'm not exactly sure what his... I'm pretty sure he's, like, known. He's got thousands of fucking Instagram followers, but he's a very nice guy and very... I'm very good for the role, I think. And so, you know, I'm really happy to be working with him. It was nice of him to, you know, he was super fucking nice about what I was doing. He was like, "You're crushing it, man. You're great." They were all very surprised, or they acted like I was doing a really good job. The director said he's going to give me more lines next time. He's going to give me more scenes. So that felt good. It felt good, like, okay, I'm doing good at this, you know, or else they're just being nice. You know, it wasn't like going onto a TV commercial and having them be like, "What is this guy doing? This is terrible. How are we going to use any of this? This guy doesn't get my direction." You know, a lot of times it is hard as an actor to like get what the fucking director is trying to tell you. Like, what do they want? I don't fucking know. And I used to take the shit very personally. That's... theater could be hard to do because I have a huge ego, obviously, and like I would take shit personally. If the director would give me a direction that I didn't understand, it, you know, I would take it personally. Like, what the hell do they want me to do? I'm saying I'm doing this, you know, they want more. I don't know what they want. I'm doing this the way that feels right to me. They want more complexity, whatever the fuck that means. Oh, I want to talk about Raging Bull too. I got to get it. Speaking of complexity, I watched Raging Bull again for the first time in a long time, and it kind of was crazy. It was like a crazy flashback, crazy bygone, you know, era kind of revisited. But anyway, so So yeah, we did. This scene was in this beautiful fucking office. They had all these cool props for the Jingle Thugs, guitars and keyboards and shit. So they really, they really made the space fucking good. It was like, yeah, I feel like a Jingle Thug in this fucking office, but I didn't want to overdo it. They weren't trying to hit that Jingle Thug joke as hard as I was. In my head, I'm thinking Jamie Kennedy. I'm the Jingle Thug. I'm like this fucking, what's that movie Jamie Kennedy did? Beverly Hills. I don't remember. Ghetto. What the fuck is that movie? Jamie Kennedy. Where he plays like a white rapper guy. That's what I'm thinking. When I hear Jingle Thug, I'm thinking like Ali G. Or like Eminem or whatever, like some lame ass white. Well, not Eminem's not lame, but like, somebody trying to be Eminem who's like some corporate douchebag. Jingle Thugs. But it was a really, like, it's just a small thing. Like I said, I wasn't necessarily trying to go crazy with it. It's one day I just wanted to do a good job, not get fired. Not have him be like, we got to cut this fucking guy out of the movie. Yeah, that was amazing. Cut. Don't even print this. We cannot use this shit. This guy fucking sucks. No, but Conan is in some movie. Did people see this? Conan is like playing like a fucking psychiatrist. He looks like he's pretty good, actually. With Rose Byrne, one of my favorites. I think Rose Byrne is one of the greatest living actors. I really admire Rose Byrne a lot. Rose Byrne and Conan. There you go, everybody. Genetic freaks. He's 6'4". So he's how tall is he spiritually? AOC. Conan is 7 feet tall spiritually. His dick is 12 feet long spiritually. Spiritually speaking, I think he's got a 12-inch dick. But Stephen Miller, spiritually, his dick is only like an inch. But not even spiritually. I mean, his dick probably actually is an inch. Why couldn't she say something about how his dick is small? Don't call him a short king. That's just mean. He can't help that. Tell him his dick is small. You really want to hurt his feelings? Well, I guess you're hurting his feelings by calling him a short king. But he's not. He's 5'10". If he was 5'3", you might hurt his feelings. If he hasn't developed a sense of humor by now about being 5'3", which most people do, or else they die. They die of sorrow because they're 5'3". Stephen Miller, on the other hand, is fucking 5'10", and he's bald. He's got kind of a hot wife, unfortunately. So say something about he's got a tiny dick. Or about, how he's a racist or ugly or probably just sucks as a person, There's any number of things you could fucking bitch about with Stephen Miller. But other than the fact that he's, not short. So I'm going to talk more about this for 45 minutes, everybody. If you're just now tuning in, you missed my diatribe about short kings. It's just never ending. It's never ending. There's always new. It's something I care passionately about. It's a cause. It's a cause that I really am passionate about. Short kings. We need justice for short kings, okay? I'm not a short king. I'm 6'3". Okay, for those watching at home, I'm 6'3", ladies and gentlemen. But I want to fight for my short king brothers and sisters, okay? I mean, if women can wear push-up bras, why can't men wear, like, platform shoes? I think that's fair. That's just fair. Women wear makeup, they wear, whatever. Fucking girdles and shit. Weird, like, body-forming fucking spandex and shit. But if I wear lifts, like, oh, fuck. I'm a fucking, that's lying. Not that I wear lifts. I don't wear lifts. I would never wear lifts. They wouldn't do anything for me. Anyway, I shouldn't get on this again. This is the worst lighting probably ever in a live stream. What was I saying? AOC, no, the movie, yeah. So anyway, we filmed this fucking scene. I ad-lib some shit. I think I vibe it out. I really didn't fuck up anything too bad. Most of the takes were usable. I kind of stumbled over some lines a little bit here and there, but and there wasn't any moment where like I went on some kind of like inspired fucking like back and forth. I didn't like literally the scene in the script is one line. And so in my head I'm thinking that's all this is in this movie. Even though the character is kind of alluded to by other characters, there's a scene where they're talking about this the mom is going to get this kid a job at or a job interview or whatever. So it's set up like it's going to be something. So it could, like I said, this could have been like, depending on what the tone of the movie is, it could have been like a funny, you know, over the top thing in a way, if they wanted to go there. But if they got Andy Dick to do it or something, or Martin Short, it'd be like that type of goofy uh, improv. I was like, should I just Vince Vaughn this thing? Should I just fucking like go on some kind of like rant in this fucking? Why do you want to make jingles? And then the character says, I've never thought about that question before. And then the script it says, the interviewer laughs. But of course, the director, it's always like that's just they don't want you to actually do that. Whatever it says in the script, it's like they never actually want you to do that. They want you to come up with something different that like is what it really is. And so I didn't really know, to be honest, how to play it other than just like how this guy reacted to me when I didn't know what lens I used. Why do you want to make jingles? You've never thought about it before. Okay, well, what the fuck are you doing here? Why are you wasting my goddamn time? And we added a little bit. Like I come in and I throw in all this kind of like hip slang. I'm like, yo, yo, I didn't say yo, yo, but I'm like, welcome. Thanks for coming. These are the digs. You can park it right here. And then I go around and I sit down and I go, your mom kind of sent us a lot of emails about this. She must really want you to get this job. Why do you want to make jingles? And then he goes, I never actually thought about that question before. And then there's sort of a moment where like, I don't, what would I say from there? I would say, okay, well, but you write poetry or like, that is what we do here. We write jingles. I mean, you play music. You have garage band. Like, how do you fuck? Like, I don't know. What the fuck? There's a million different things you could do from there, but it's just meant to be like kind of a beat at the end of the scene where it's like this awkward kind of silence or something. Like that is this guy is never going to work here. It's already off on the wrong foot because he's a poet. He's sort of uncompromising is what it's about. I think the character cannot do what this guy, he can't be a jingle thug. He's too pure. Okay. He writes fucking poetry and well, it's also just like not the right thing. He should focus on that. And, I don't know. You land where you're supposed to land. I've been on a lot of fucking job interviews that just like were awkward as fuck. And like, we're just like that. This one job interview, the guy told me to tell a joke. Tell me a joke. And so I told him this really long joke that was not funny at all, which was the worst possible thing I could have done. And I did not get hired, needless to say. So, but I mean, like I said, they were super encouraging. And like, if I wanted to go on some kind of crazy fucking monologue about jingles, do you want to be a jingle thug? You think you have what it takes to be a fucking jingle thug? You know, I have ate, slept. Do you think I wanted to be a jingle thug? No. It's what I have to do to pay the bills, to pay for my kids, to pay for my wife, to have a life, to be able to afford, blah, blah, blah. There's a million different things you could go on about being a jingle thug. But I didn't want to freak everybody out or do anything weird. I just wanted to nail it. And like I said, they were super encouraging and enthusiastic about what I was doing. We had a nice little moment at the end where we had this kind of like back and forth, because I was kind of getting worried because the director was telling me just say the line and don't do like the reactions I was doing. And I mean, I definitely have a tendency, I can do a lot of reacting type stuff. And so like I understood, like I did want to give them a take where it was just like I just delivered the line and gave them kind of like an eye line and a blank reaction so they could cut to that if they needed to. They just had something normal that they could use if they needed to. But we had some nice moments back and forth, and at the end there was kind of this funny moment where we just kind of stared at each other. But there was like I would do something and he would kind of react, and I would do something and he kind of reacted. So it's like that could be funny if they held that moment out and we just kind of stare at each other in this kind of subtle way, in this kind of hanging awkward silence. I could see that working. That probably is the funniest because that's the point of the scene. The point of the scene is it's just like this is just like a brick. Like the point of the scene is not like Jingle Thugs is like a fucking joke and it's meant to be this broad, it's meant to be like a little bit just realistic, I think. So yeah, it was fucking cool. We did a master shot, like a wide. So this fucking office we were in, I was asking him, like, because I think he borrowed it from people he knew or something. He said it was like super chic. There were all these model type people walking around. And it's like they had all these great art books. They had all the art books, like they had this Phyllis Guston book and Joan Mitchell and all these fucking art books that like I was like, this is good stuff. And I was like, what is this office? What is it's like, oh, we borrowed it. It's like it's a cashmere company. They make cashmere stuff, but it's like I think it was Gigi Hadid's fucking mom or something. I don't remember. So it was like this really fucking nice office, nice view out the window, out Bond Street. It had a nice vibe, and yeah, like then we did close up, reverse, whatever, behind the desk shots. And it didn't take that long at all. I think I got there at my call time was at 3:30. I was out of there probably by like 6:30 or 7, maybe a little earlier than that. I think it was dark maybe when I left. But as I'm fucking leaving, I was in the bathroom and I come out of the bathroom to like say goodbye to everybody to leave. And I'm pretty sure that this guy Walrus, I don't know how to pronounce his last name, Aluwalia. I'm pretty sure this guy was in the fucking holding waiting for his scene because for people who don't know, Waris Aluwalia, he's in a bunch of Wes Anderson movies. He's in Darjeeling Limited. He was very recognizable like in the 2000s. Not that he isn't anymore. But, I just remember thinking it was so glamorous. You'd read about him in Gawker Stalker and all this stuff. He's hanging out at fucking Laban or whatever, the Standard. You're like, oh my God, I got to get to New York and be a part of the fucking jet set elite Waris Aluwalia is fucking partying at Bungalow 8 or whatever. And I come out of the fucking bathroom and this dude is working on this goddamn movie. I think he's in it. I'm pretty sure he's in it. I think he's friends with the director, which is another cool. Like, I love that casting because it ties the movie in with all the Wes Anderson stuff and that whole world. And so I'm like, wow, this is pretty fucking nice. You know, like I came, the fucking food was good. I was reading before, while I was waiting for my scene, I was reading this fucking. Ashley got me this issue of Talisman, which is an obscure poetry magazine. It was the Leslie Scalapino issue. And so I was reading this essay, Will Alexander on Robert Duncan's Vietnam poems, which was actually a really interesting essay. But I'm reading it while I'm waiting for my scene or whatever, because I'm like, this is a poetry movie, you know, like there should be like some really fucking hardcore like poetry book. Somebody should be reading like some like really like Talisman, the Leslie Scalapino issue. Like that's fucking about as hardcore as it gets for like, you know, inside poetry stuff in this fucking culture. And so I'm reading this fucking Will Alexander essay. It's incredible because the whole thing is about the sort of argument in a way, or at least in the beginning, is like some of these writers almost look at war as like a muse because it causes this reaction of people writing against the war. It causes all of these, you know, it's a way of reconciling the idea that wars happen, I guess. But they're talking about like the Iliad, right? There's a line in the Iliad where it's almost like they say something about like the war happens so they can write the poem about it or something. And I don't know. Like I do think that that is sort of like the cycles of like with Trump. Trump is like this catalyst. All of the resistance, wokeness, you know, that was catalyzed by Trump in a way. And so not that Trump is good, but that's the dragon energy, right? Is like it catalyzes and it forces this sort of oppositional, you know, organization against it. You know, the poets, it does almost act as a muse because it inspires you to write against that type of thing, write against fascism, work against war, work against, you know, genocide in Palestine, work against that whole thing. In any case, you know, it was an interesting thing to be reading. And it was, you know, seemed pertinent to the modern kind of moment we're in or whatever. Yeah, so anyway, I mean, it was a fucking awesome experience. It was definitely the best experience I've ever had on a film set. It made me feel like shit. Okay, God, if it was always like this, where people just like are nice to you, they, you know, it's just it's a lot different the way the crew treats you when you're like normally I'm the fucking camera guy, right? Like I come in and I'm like the second backup camera guy or whatever. I'm like seen and not heard. Whereas like this, it's like you're the talent. Whoa. It's a world of fucking difference when you're the talent, you know. They treat you nice. They treat you with respect. It feels good. I felt like Harry Northup. It's my new goal. People, I don't know if people know Harry Northup, but he's probably the best poet actor. He's more poet than actor in a certain way. He's got a YouTube page. Look up, I think it's MPTF or something. Motion Picture Television Fund. He lives in the Motion Picture Television Fund in the Hollywood Hills. But he's an LA poet. He's in fucking Taxi Driver. He's in Mean Streets. He's in a bunch of Jonathan Demme movies. I think he's in Melvin and Howard, maybe. He's in a lot of classic movies. And he's never like a huge part. He's always got like kind of a small role, a few lines or a scene or something. That's about it. You know, he's a taxi. He's one of the other cab drivers and taxi driver. He's like a guy, runs a cash register or something, or he's always got like just a few lines, few scenes. But a lot of his poetry is about it's sort of like William Carlos Williams or like Bukowski, or it's very like plain spoken and like just kind of about his day. But he's got this cool actor life where it's like he goes to see movies at the Academy for free. He lives in East Hollywood with his wife, poet Holly Prado. And he's got this kind of body of work that he can be proud of, where it's like he's in fucking Taxi Driver, for Christ's sake. So he's got mad clout. But he's also this cool kind of like avant-garde, modernist or like avant-garde poet or something. Did I say that twice? He reads at Beyond Baroque all the time in LA. And we saw him read at Skylight right before the pandemic. And my ex-girlfriend and her friend cried. They both cried because it was so touching. And so in a certain way, he's sort of like one of my inspirations, I guess. I'm trying to figure out what the fucking next move is. So if somehow I could get a little bit of an income or something from being in movies or doing movies or doing background shit, I'd do that. And I don't know. It's just kind of a fun. The open mic is a big kind of congregation and collaboration in a way, but like it'd be fun to make a movie which is like a little bit more of a strategized group kind of enterprise. I'd like to, that would maybe be the next big thing. Is there anything else I need to say about that? Harry Northup and all that shit. What the fuck else happened? Oh yeah, I went to this John Lennon birthday. That's what I did today, October 9th. I guess it's the 10th now, but they were doing Central Park, there's Strawberry Fields, and there's that Imagine Circle right out front of the Dakota on 72nd Street. And so, like I said, I walk through there like a couple times a week on my way to the train or coming back here or whatever. I'll walk through Strawberry Fields. And there's always somebody out there playing. Almost always. Or there are people. That's why I walk through there. It's like, I want to turn Central Park into like a megaplex of like live performance. Like we should do like a Central Park Arts Festival where we just sort of throw guerrilla performances all over the park simultaneously. Like one day we should do like a fucking like in the fucking band shell, by the fountain, on the mall, all over. We should have like separate stages with performances. Do the Central Park Arts Festival. But in any case, it's John Lennon's birthday yesterday. And so I'm like, well, fuck. I'm always seeing these videos of there's like all these fucking people at the Imagine thing on his birthday, like playing Beatles songs and shit. So I'm like, okay, fuck, I'm there practically every day. Like, I want to make sure to do that this year. I've never been to that. It seems like one of these kind of like touristy, I guess, New York, kind of bucket list items or something. It's weird how large the Beatles and like John Lennon's spirit kind of in particular looms over New York and Manhattan, specifically the Dakota and the Strawberry Fields thing. It's such a kind of like eerie place in a weird way. Particularly in the light of the fact that he got shot there. And the building itself, right, just has this kind of like haunted kind of history, Rosemary's Baby, and it looks kind of freaky. Vanilla Sky, David Ames, John Cassavetes, right? Fucking Rosemary's Baby. And so I thought, what the hell? Let's go to this fucking. And my friend was nice enough to let me borrow this fucking PA system. So I was carrying this fucking PA around, and it sounds awesome. I mean, goddamn, this thing sounds fucking good, and it's really not even that heavy. So I was going to try to do an open mic in Central Park, where I'm just like, hey, come out and fucking perform at the fucking band shell. I've got this PA. Just come out, do something. So I didn't take the guitar. I should have taken the fucking guitar rather than the microphone. I've never, like I said, I've never been to this before, so I really did not know exactly what to expect, or I didn't even know if it was going to be happening per se. I just thought, what the hell? I mean, it's his birthday. I'll go down there and see what's going on. So I got there probably at like 4 or something. And, you know, the band was pretty good. You know, they were kind of like, all these fucking bands kind of sound like high school, like, not like high school garage bands, but like high school, like school bands, like bands that like started like the fucking marching band. Like there's something about the way they play that's like very loose and like soft and like they're reading it off charts. It doesn't feel like rock and roll where I come from. There's no snap to it. There's no punch to it. Like it sounds good because it's like soft and nice and like they're not, you know, bashing the fuck out of the drums or anything, but it's also kind of like, it's like tepid in a way. Even though the notes are all in the right place and it works and it like grooves and shit, there's something about it that's like kind of like laid back in a way that's like, that's where I come from. I don't know. Rock and roll is a little bit more like upright and like standing on its fucking toes and shit. And so, you know, like I said, there was this weird kind of war between the two. This guy on piano who wanted to play all the fucking like Paul McCartney. It's like that's what pissed me off about it, is like they didn't really seem to have any awareness of like what songs John Lennon wrote. They didn't care. It's like they were just playing Beatles songs basically, and most of the songs they played were written by other people. You know, like I said, the one guy really seemed to like McCartney a lot because he's like a piano fucking teacher, you know, like music teachers. They love McCartney. You know, like he's great. Everybody loves McCartney. Like he is incredible. But I'm just like, what would John Lennon feel if he knew they were playing Maybe I'm Amazed on his fucking birthday? And not playing like, I mean, they did play In My Life. But there's tons of shit they didn't play that John Lennon wrote. Like they didn't play A Day in the Life. They didn't play fucking Give Peace a Chance. Tons of classic shit they didn't play. They didn't play She Said. Didn't play I'm Only Sleeping. Didn't play You've Got to Hide Your Love Away. Didn't play Tell Me Why. I don't even think they played Hard Day's Night. Didn't play Please Please Me. They played Anna a couple times. It's like he didn't write that song, but okay. So I don't know. It is what it is. That nobody in the crowd fucking really gave a shit, I guess. There didn't seem to be anybody steering the ship, but if I ever go again, I'll sort of know what to expect. I had my fucking PA, I didn't use it because I'm like the thing that's beautiful about it is like it's the crowd deciding to sing the lyrics like together that makes it like a song. You know, like it's a group of people. We all just came here. We're strangers. This is not an event. There's no tickets. It was almost like Occupy Wall Street or something. It felt sort of like Occupy Wall Street in a weird way.
It just felt like this kind of like happening or like hangout of people who like want to sing these songs. And I don't know, like I mean, I know John Lennon like now in sort of cancel culture and purity culture, it's like John Lennon is like this sort of unforgivable like wife beater. But I just don't think that that is really true. Like the dude did more for peace and love than probably fucking anybody, probably ever, practically. I mean, who was more of a fucking like warrior and like outspoken and like politician and sloganeer for like peace and love than John Lennon? Like nobody, literally nobody. He simplified it, down to like, and all their songs are about love. I mean, I think that's a pretty fucking positive thing, like, and I mean, now more, I mean, look at just the fucking, that song Help, I don't know. That song just, McCartney played it live for the first time in like 60 fucking years the other day. It's like, that song is like weirdly more important than ever. It's so brave to me. There's so much humanity in John Lennon's music about if you need a shoulder to cry on, I hope it will be mine. You can tell like John Lennon, at least in his music, help. This is like a very earnest, sincere, like vulnerable song that this person is asking for help. I can't do it by myself. Please. Like that's a brave fucking thing to write a song about. And so, yeah, I mean, his bio, his history with his first wife was not great. I don't think it's as bad as people are making it out to be, frankly. They act like he's like fucking Chris Brown or something. It's like he didn't do that. Like, I don't know exactly what the story is. I think he maybe hit his first wife like once or like possibly, more than once, but I don't, I think it's overblown. Just for some reason as sort of a character assassination about this guy who actually is sort of like, he got killed. He got wiped out because he was too fucking. And then the 80s happened. Reagan. Look where we are now. It's like, yeah, they needed to wipe people like that out. They need to slander people like that because they can't have somebody who's a propagandist for peace and love and no possessions and everything that's in the song Imagine. You know, they can't have somebody like that be. I mean, look at this. This guy's been dead for 45 fucking years, and there's, you know, groups of people congregating around this shrine to him, lighting candles, people of all ages, all fucking backgrounds from all over the fucking world coming, spreading flowers, garlands, singing this fucking music unspurred. There's no, they all know every fucking vocal inflection, every note of every fucking song. Like, that is crazy to me. The power of that and the effectiveness of it. It still works. People are still coming there. There isn't a better substitute yet. But it's also kind of sad because you do feel it sort of like fading into the past. McCartney's getting old. John Lennon's been dead so long. It's like people, in a lot of ways, they almost don't even remember him. I think he's certainly not Gen Z's favorite Beatle. That would be George Harrison, and George Harrison is phenomenal. They had to all be phenomenal. It never would have worked. They wouldn't have been what they were if they were not all phenomenal. So I don't know. I mean, it was weird. It was emotional. I cried multiple times. Of course, I was chain smoking weed the whole time. But that's neither here nor there. I don't know. I mean, in this it's a crazy fucking time. Trump might win the Nobel Prize. I guess we should talk about that. I'll close with this, talking about Trump and the ceasefire or whatever the hell you want to call it, peace in the Middle East. This is probably what I should have fucking led with, I guess. What people probably want to fucking hear about. Uh, all we are saying is give peace a chance. That's Trump singing. So, did he do it? Did Trump broker the deal? The art of the deal, everybody, in the Middle East. Finally, Gaza, all of the leftists, all the Jill Stein people, they were right. They were right, goddammit. The leftists were right. Trump is the hippie candidate. He is the peace candidate. He solved it, everybody. He's freeing the hostages. Well, okay. I mean, they said Kushner is brokering the deal like he does real estate, which is like you get them to a yes and then you hammer out the fine details. It's like, well, they haven't really agreed to anything, actually. If that's how you're making the deal, like, yeah, okay, they want to return the hostages, they want their hostages back, but from what I understand, like the deal is completely one-sided. It doesn't really give the Palestinians any rights whatsoever. There's no path to statehood. There's no self-determination. They're basically gonna, like, yeah, maybe they won't be like being bombed necessarily like they are right now. Although who the fuck knows? You know, Israel has violated these ceasefires before. And so they've had ceasefires before. You know, so it's like they can throw this out there like it's a done deal, like it's Iraq, mission accomplished. It's like, well, that remains to be seen. We really don't fucking know if there's this is going to, you know, stop anybody. Is this going to stop Netanyahu from bombing? Like he doesn't seem to want to do that. And they can get away with violating these fucking ceasefires and shit because they know the United States and no one is going to hold them accountable. No one's going to stop them. And so I think they want like a political win. Then they're announcing the Nobel Peace Prize in 2 days, which seems like real suspicious timing to me. It seems like Trump is really trying to get that in before the deadline. And I think he wants that Obama Nobel Peace. How the fuck does Trump even know what the Nobel Peace Prize is? Because Obama won it, is that how he knows what it is? Like, did Trump dream of winning the Nobel Peace Prize when he was like running fucking casinos and like when he's a slumlord or like growing up in Queens? Like, this has really been a motivating thing for fucking Trump, like winning the Nobel Peace Prize. Like, I just don't think it's really his métier. I would not expect that, like, at all. Like, I think, you know, he'd be more likely to win like the fucking, I don't know, Powerball or like WrestleMania or something. I don't know. He'd probably be more likely to win the fucking Royal Rumble. But here we are. Trump maybe is the odd. What does Vegas say? Is Trump the odds-on favorite now, or what are the betting? What are the betting? What's the spread? What's the spread on Trump winning the Nobel Peace Prize? I think for one thing, Netanyahu wants to. He wouldn't want to end this on a Biden presidency or a Democrat presidency because he does want to give the win to Trump. You know, by starting wars when the Democrats are in office, they get the Democrats to own those wars in Ukraine and in Gaza, like they fucking started them, and it just looks bad, politically. That's this has. If, I don't know if it's a deciding factor, really, if you ask people like statistically, but like I think for young leftist people, it is. It is the issue where they're like, the Democrats are pro genocide and we will not vote for them. And Trump has sort of, I think he has paid attention to that. I think there's a lot of fucking maneuvering happening to regain control of the narrative, like in Israel in particular. That is to say, I think they're listening to the feedback in a way. They're listening to people say, like, this is horrible. We do not want this. We don't want wars. We don't want genocide. We don't want APAC control of our fucking government. I think they're becoming aware of that, and they are they're working together to shape this narrative. Like, look at the fucking New York Times. The New York Times, some of the coverage in the New York Times recently has been fucking crazy. I can't even believe it's the New York Times. They had this op-ed about how Hegseth's speech was like actually pretty good. Like, this is the fucking New York Times, and they're like glazing Pete Hegseth like and white and being anti-DEI. It's like, that's a little weird. There's a whole op-ed about that. Oh, this speech was pretty good, actually. What? This is the New York liberal. And then everything in the New York Times today was like Trump is brokering this fucking peace deal, and let's just see exactly all of the headlines. And so it feels like Israeli government approves deal to release hostages. U.S. is sending 200 troops to monitor ceasefire in Gaza. How Jared Kushner, a self-described deal guy, helped broker a Gaza breakthrough. Trained in New York City real estate, the president's son-in-law had a single goal: get to a yes first and hash out the details later. This is the fucking New York Times. Trump's peace plan is tailor-made for Israel. It still might work. That's what Thomas L. Friedman, give Trump the Nobel for Gaza if he does the harder parts to come. This is Thomas Friedman, okay? This guy has like a platform in the New York Times like every week, multiple times, saying Trump give the Nobel Prize. What I'm understanding is like the deal is like totally one-sided. It doesn't give the Palestinians anything. But it looks like, I don't know, they're like ending the war. Which, like, I'm not really sure how much of a war. I mean, it's like Hamas, which supposedly is some kind of Israel fucking controlled opposition or something, attacked this music festival. They kidnapped a bunch of hostages, and then Israel bombed the fuck out of Gaza to the point of like killing practically everybody, including mostly women and children. And apparently there's like Hamas fighters in tunnels underneath Gaza, and in order to bomb the tunnels, they need to like blow up the fucking buildings. That's why they leveled it. That's what I heard. But I mean, it seems like this is why Larry Ellison is buying TikTok. This is why Barry Weiss is the new head of CBS News. This is why the fucking New York Times is talking the way that they're talking. It's a Jewish conspiracy. Well, I think they see what happened with how they lost control of the narrative on Gaza, and how leftist on campus, Gen Z people were becoming like, in their eyes, like pro-terrorism or something. And so all of this stuff is a way of like repositioning the narrative on that, where it's like, okay, Trump gets to look like the one who is bringing peace. The war is ending. He's stopping the genocide. All of the media, TikTok, they're going to change their algorithm. CBS fucking News, the New York Times already has, to be sort of like less anti-Israel. I think Israel is shrewd enough to know that is their it's their public image is horrible. People think that they're like Nazis now. They're doing what the Nazis did. They're genociding the Palestinians, and I think that they don't want to be viewed that way. I think they do see that like there's a problem there, and like how do we, and I think there probably is earnesty and like their sincerity to like stop the killing, I guess. But like Trump's plans are not like sensitive to the Palestinians. It's the same shit. He wants to relocate them and build a bunch of fucking condos and shit. There's that canal, the Ben Gurion Canal or whatever. Gaza's like right on this fucking canal. And so rather than use the Suez Canal, they can use this Ben Gurion Canal. And so that's why it's valuable to them. Because Gaza is like right on the canal. They need that waterfront property. So they have the rights to this fucking canal, which they can use instead of the Suez Canal, which like a lot of the fucking world shipping goes through. And plus, the United States does use Israel as like a proxy and like a colony and like a military base, basically, in the Middle East. It's the only democracy in the Middle East or whatever. That's part of their justification for why they support Israel in this sort of special relationship or whatever. Is like they want to control. That's their foothold in the Middle East. That's their ally. That's their command center. And so, I think they just, a lot of this is just like they want to readjust their image. They want to, it does feel like the Trump people pay attention to, public discourse, what trends on social media, and they make adjustments, weird policy things like tax on tips or they are like responding. They're and I think that is likable to people. The idea that okay, the government is Trump is, you can't totally pin him down and say he's all this or all that because he's willing to do certain things. Like what, he just changed his mind on fucking Ukraine, right? He listened to King Charles or whatever and changed his mind and said, fuck, well, actually, we're going to beat Russia's ass or we can beat them. Like, is that flip-flopping? Yeah, that's what they'd call it if a Democrat did it. But since Trump did it, it's like, fuck, thank God this guy's human and he actually listens. And so it's hard to pin down exactly what's going on. But, right now the narrative in the fucking news is right, like Trump should get the fucking Nobel Peace Prize because he stopped the war. And it's like, well, not really. Like, it's easy, once again, it's easy to say you've stopped the fucking war, but it's like there's things that neither side is willing to capitulate on. And so how they will maintain a ceasefire or whatever through that remains to be seen. But hopefully it will stop the fucking killing and stop the genocide. That's a good thing. But I also think it's just like they're the controlled opposition. Like Israel committed all of the genocide on the Democrat presidency because they knew they wouldn't intervene and stop it. It makes them look bad. The Democrats had to own it politically because it happened on their watch, and it affected, in a big way, whether or not young people would vote for them, and they didn't. And so now Trump gets handed the win, basically. But it's all Netanyahu making that decision because he's, and so I also think Israel is kind of ready to get rid of him. And I think Trump is maybe ready to get rid of him too. I think they do want to kind of chill things out over there. Maybe. Who knows? But hopefully, yeah, it's a good deal. And I don't know. I don't know what the fuck. Is it going to fall apart? Is it real? I got to get a new fucking iPhone. That's all I know. And so, thank you for watching, everybody. Come to fucking My Dinner with Andre week next Monday. And who knows what else. It's Mike-tober. Halloween's coming up. If I have anything else going on. I'm in this movie. Who knows when this movie's going to come out. I'll keep you posted. Maybe next year. Who knows? It's the New York Film Festival right now, so there's all kind of film buzz in the air. It's cool. The weather really plummeted. It was 80 degrees like 2 days ago, and now it's fucking 40. So that sucks. But I guess it's finally autumn. So thank you for watching. I guess, I was a little, I don't know, not totally in the mood to do this. And it's late. But I just had to get those experiences down because just so much has happened the last few days. So it's kind of an interesting, story. So I just had to get that down for my own personal records and stuff, recollections. But thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. We'll be back on soon, this weekend sometime. So stay tuned, everybody. And thanks for watching.